Hello, friends. Welcome to RotoQuest. We've experienced authentically live I was going to say authentically late live D&D, but it didn't work. Whatever the case is, hello.
Well, this is awkward.
We do have something to mention just real quick, and that is that I will not be available next week. So we will not have a session next week, at least this one. We're still working on it a little bit. We may actually still have something next week, but for the Cubix Ascenders, there will not be another session next week. Unfortunately, we'll be taking a week break. And Tiku will be gone the week after that, but yeah, we'll that one we can deal with when we get there. But yeah, no D&D next week. Really, that's it. With that, as I just hit my mic and it vibrates, I apologize. It was probably really loud. We are just going to jump.
As you also blow out their eardrums with a Windows notification bomb.
I need to turn off Windows noises. I will do that in a little bit. Sorry, train of thought. Back. Last week, after having a long overdue rest, we'll say, you were all able to rest at Orlevel's Manor. You met with his butler, who both assisted you in your various tasks, whether that was preparing armor, along with the blacksmith of his manor, or finding the library, finding a place to rest in what is especially resting pools, rejuvenating. I don't know. From there, you guys spent a little bit of the morning discussing, kind of making a plan, and learned that there was a slight change in the timeline of these conquests for the Dragon Festival. Rather than having one each day, you were instead having two this day. So a little bit of a plan was made. You were able to glean a little bit more information about it and figured out that you were going to be split up into groups of no more than two. From there, after electing or selecting your groups, you proceeded to meet with each of the dragons to actually select, as your trial was effectively given by a dragon. Gurgle and Mr. Clay Beekman elected to take a red ancient dragon, not the first time you've met it. I was going to say Razu and Kane, but Razu elected to pick the helping hand after confirming that he was a dragon. And then Tiku and Zephyr elected to participate in a trial with the odd martial artist dragon. Although did not quite accept her trial, did offer to instead accentuate that test. Idea is spread it across multiple facets, one might say 6 separate checks of facets. Gurgle and Clay Beekman elected, or Gurgle, I guess I should say, elected to help Eluxodon, and seems to have triggered some kind of a trap within his trial, and elementals had just spawned. Razu and Kane were able to climb the snowy peaks, make their way up to the tower, and successfully climb the tower. Actually, I think you climbed the tower better than you climbed the mountain.
No.
Perhaps not. Whatever the case is, they made it to the top and were presented with their own riddle, which I did say I was going to say one more time, so I'm going to be saying it one more time for them right now, and then we're actually going to be starting with Tiku and Zephyr. So one more time for you two. The hint you got at the beginning, or what you saw on the door, was only when fire is fed, stone is grounded, wind is calm, and water flows freely, shall the path open. Now, Zephyr and Tiku, upon entering this arena, we'll say, you quickly found yourselves both in a dark environment that quickly gave way to more of a volcanic environment. You heard the sound of a bell and were told that you simply needed to ring the bell. That is the goal of this trial. But as you looked at what was at first a large mountain peak that seems to get a little bit smaller as you approach, the river of lava in front of you seemed to grow wider. You made a little bit of a plan. You tied yourselves together, and Tiku, electing to go first, you had just jumped onto what unfortunately appeared to be an illusionary palette in the lava. With Zephyr's help, you've been able to pull back, not before burning yourself fairly bad, and have now realized that at least a good portion of this path is likely illusionary. Lastly, you have again just noticed that across the river there is a host of dragons that all seem to be inspecting you, almost watching you, like a hawk almost hovering around an open field looking for prey. How do you guys wish to proceed?
Waiting for you to mess up.
Alright, so I'm going to start by because we have multiple platforms we can jump to, correct?
Yes. So you.
But some are illusionary.
There is effectively dozens of different choices when you start, and then every time you jump a platform, you effectively have 6 separate options that you can jump to.
I assume I can use investigation to determine which ones are real or not, hopefully.
Correct.
So-
So for the sake of this, similar to how I was doing with them, you have one of 2 options. You can either make a batch roll for the entire length. Every time you fail an illusion check, you will not be pushed back, but you will be taking damage as you would hit the lava. You can either do 4 rolls. Each one would effectively count for a batch of 5. So you can do it as 4 rolls. There is no penalty for failing other than just straight damage. On the illusion check, that is. And then you need 4 successful athletic checks to make it across.
Chico just remembered that she can fly.
No, don't do that here.
But I have wings. It's part of my body.
It's
Now-
fine.
now it's
No,
buddy.
you have to take on the challenge as it presents itself. It's the intent.
Okay.
Unless
Which
you
one
want
should I jump to next?
Right now. So we should just do. I'm just gonna for speed. We're just gonna batch check it, I guess. So I just roll 4 separate times.
So
on
it would be 4
investigation.
separate times, yes,
Okay.
for the illusion check. Tiku can make a check herself as well.
Okay. Let me
You
think.
both have a chance to exceed. Illusions, simply the DC needs to be met.
Let me think.
I
how
can't use perception for that, right? It has to be
You
investigation.
cannot. Illusions must be found with investigation.
Yep, Tiko's gonna let Zephyr do that. I mean, I could, but I'm not gonna see it through shit.
Damn it, can you not give advantage unless you're proficient in it?
Correct.
Correct.
So
Yep.
doing your own roll would still be worth it just in case?
She could try and nat 20 it.
Does not guarantee
First one.
success on the check.
Oh, try again.
That is true.
I know, but if the DC is 19 or lower,
I can guidance myself during this whole thing, I assume, because I can just guidance myself on each check.
Yes, you would be able to utilize guidance during this.
Controlled. All right. That is. Oh, that's good. 27 on the first one.
Easily enough, you're able to spot the first, almost like the first entire area. You're able to quickly point out which
I
which platforms
feel like we
are
should
illusionary.
do investigation, then athletics, then investigation, then athletics.
Okay, so you want me to do my athletics now?
Yeah, we should do that.
As
'cause that's how
Tiku
it's gonna
attempts
go.
to proceed forward, you need to make a charisma saving throw to start.
Cool. Good.
That's a natural 1 for a 0.
Do you do anything for that? You do have options.
As
have no
Tiku gets
inspiration.
ready to jump, you see the dragons looking at you, and a familiar, from a long time ago, but a very familiar fear starts to sink in. You have true disadvantage
So I have disadvantage
on your
regardless
athletics.
of
Yes.
regardless of
Okay.
advantage. Okay.
So effectively, what it is, it's not that you couldn't technically counteract it. It's that you are being affected by a host of separate dragons.
So if you beat it 6 times, you can have advantage.
You guys can walk if you want. It's not a super big deal.
yeah.
We ain't super freaking professional. Hello, Dad's come and said hi during sessions.
Nobody
Athletics check?
Nobody gets scared here.
Yes, athletics, and you do have disadvantage.
She rolled.
14.
Not
No,
That's
no,
four, right? That
it,
was a
does,
four.
it doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you made this rule yourself, but technically, according to the rules, anybody can help with anything, even if they're
Yeah, because we have so many people.
humans.
That was specifically I did it
that's a
because
house
we have
rule.
a 6-man table. That is a me rule. That is a real thing. I
Otherwise,
know
we
that
just
that's
always
not
have
rules.
advantage on
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
At all times.
I thought it was worth mentioning.
That's fair.
Yeah.
In this case, that is a me roll, and it's just because our table is large enough that you'd always have advantage. You said 14.
14.
14. As you jump, again, this fear is something fresh. The wound not quite healed, especially as you more recently again witnessed the green dragon eating some of your family. And one foot makes it, but the other does hit the lava. You do get to still make a dexterity saving throw when you hit to take half damage.
Must
Those are the
fire
wrong
damage,
kind
right?
of dice. This is going to be fire damage, which you are resistant to because of the meal that was prepared. As a quick reminder,
This is a bad die.
everyone has fire
This is a
resistance right now.
bad die. Bad made die. You're right.
I do have that.
I was actually curious. Did you think on my
Oh, there we go.
homebrew
There we
rule
go.
thing that I talked to you
21.
about yesterday, or last week?
I did think about it. I'll get back to you on
It's
this.
still a bad day.
You said 21 for dexterity saving throw?
Yep.
That is a success. And a fairly low roll as well, if it makes you feel any better. For 34, which is going to be half to 17 on
Then
your
half
successful
to-
check.
Again to
And then have to get in for fire.
68.
Yes, so it would be half to again to 8. And then Zephyr, you would still need to make an athletics check as well. However,
You
as
just get the
Tiku
toe.
did go first and she made it, and you have the
Little
row,
toe.
you are going to get
Little-
advantage
little-
as long as you succeed on
little toe
the
dip.
charisma saving throw to start.
Okay. So
Little lava toe
charisma
dip.
saving throw
Watch it, crackles.
first.
Go.
Kayla, just to inform you,
Is it
currently we're
16?
on session 44, which is supposed to
16?
be 45.
Yes.
Is a
according to
success.
Jasmine.
Okay.
Okay, so you just get advantage on your athletics.
Okay. Get your shiz together, sister.
It was
Chill.
me. It was turn D.
Oh, never mind.
All right. That is
But I will fix it.
dirty 20.
Dirty 20 is also a success. As Tiku foot almost like kicking off the bit of lava that is still on your foot, Zephyr goes to jump. You kind of take the rope, helping pull him over, and he's successfully able to make it. You've succeeded your first of 4.
So hot. So hot.
Investigation again.
All right. Get ready to go. Guidance.
No double one.
Oh, that's a lot. That's a 32.
Again, illusions easy to see through, not something that really trips up Zephyr almost at all. You quickly jump across, or sorry, you quickly are able to point out where Tiku can jump as you need to make another charisma saving throw.
Here we go.
And I know I could technically guidance every single one of these things, but I'm not going to.
I feel like charisma
Hers,
is different.
Hopefully your rolls are
No, charisma saving throw I couldn't. But I could have every athletics.
And again, like when you
the last
turn,
one was 0. This one's 1.
you know when you're like running through the dark and you almost, even though it doesn't make sense, you close your eyes and you almost feel safer, like because you can't see it can't see you. As you turn to Zephyr to help Zephyr, you find yourself with almost like renewed confidence. Zephyr lands, points out the next illusionary rocks, and Tiku's like, okay. And you turn around, you're like, as again the fear from the dragons takes you, and make an athletics check with
What
disadvantage.
happens if one of them swoops up and eats me while I'm in the air?
Good enough athletics. That's a 20. Dirty 20.
is still a success. As through fear, almost like using your wings a little bit to almost like carry the jump, despite Zephyr's warning, you're able to quickly jump over. Charisma saving throw.
That's only a 12.
That is a failure. So again, it is
Oh, wait, is it 12? Hang on. Oh, no, that's a 9. Hang on. It's a 15. I lied.
a 15 is actually a success.
Okay. Sorry.
That's good because you need it more than that. Though.
Sorry. I wasn't sure which way the dot went.
Okay, so that would be a success.
Athletics
So
is not our
athletics
jam.
with again advantage, being helped by Tiku.
We gave ourselves advantage on deck stuff.
Is a 15?
15 is not a success. I need a dexterity saving throw.
Oh,
The athletics.
wait. I do have advantage at these two.
Oh, that does.
No, because
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, he has it.
Oh, because you bathed in the. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
natural 20.
20 for 20.
20 succeeds. I rolled a lot higher than I did with Tiku.
I also
I'll
have
yank you.
resistance, So we're fine. We're fine.
48. So it's going to be half to 24 and then half to 12.
Okay. I'm okay with that. I do need to make
But-
a con save, though. Wait,
Yes, you do for your concentration.
I always have advantage, so that's a 20, so I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's 2. You guys have to get 2 more to cross
Go
the
in,
river.
babe. This is all you. You're doing all the rolling.
I got one roll.
That is
2 rolls,
24.
I guess.
24 is again a success. As soon as he realized they were illusions, Ever's like, "Oh, I see. I know what's going on here." Charisma saving throw to start.
It's right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
16.
16 and a Charisma saving throw is actually a fail for Tiku.
What?
You thought you were cool.
Oh, it's a
You just-
17 on the die.
This was your own idea that it's harder for you to
Give me charisma.
He wanted all 6.
I didn't give you charisma. He gave you charisma.
Sad thing about melee
Charismatic,
characters.
18.
18 is still a success on the athletics check, though, as Tiku again, fearful
I could jump.
but very athletic, is still able to jump.
Now I'm
from
thinking
rock
about
to
using
rock.
my guidance for my athletics.
Sheesh.
Can I do that? Because 15 doesn't make it. I'm scared.
The one thing I will say with your guidance, just do the way we're doing this, you can only use it on one of the 3 checks.
Okay, fine.
So you can only use it on either the investigation, the athletics, or the dexterity.
Well, I already used investigation on this one, so.
Okay.
Alright,
I didn't say it, so,
charisma
for this
first.
one, just to keep things fair,
Yeah,
I'll say you could
charisma
use it
save.
for this.
Okay. Charisma is an 18.
18 is a success.
Okay. I'm going to use my guidance on my
I roll a
athletics, 'cause I'm way
17.
less likely to
Still.
succeed on this. Okay, so that is. Let's see what.
Life is hard for a
It would have
little
been a
Tiku.
15, but with guidance, it's 19.
You're good. So this time again, because I thought about it afterwards, this time you can use it, and the 19 will be a success.
It's like I need over 15.
However, on the coming rounds, you would have to choose which one you want to make the choice on.
There's only one more
So I'm
round.
guessing you're
It
gonna
is
keep
just
on
one
your-
more round. So yes, on this round
we're
you need to
keeping on with
choose.
athletics. Yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
so investigation to start.
I think that's a 6. Okay, so that's a 16.
16. Okay. Zephyr is again very confident.
Okay, I'm very confident. Let's. Oh yeah, those
I
are
mean,
fine.
16
Those
isn't
are
bad.
fine. Those are fine.
Okay, start with
Do
the
it.
charisma saving throw, Tiku.
16 isn't terrible.
Oh yeah, that one's fake, and that one's real. Actually, it's
Charisma.
more like, oh, that one looks real.
Why did I roll with disadvantage?
You shouldn't have.
Roll.
Try it again.
Just murder the dice. Goes flying.
9. Still nothing.
Again, a failure is you at disadvantage on the jump.
Oh, that's fine. Oh, 18.
18. Okay, now you need to roll a d6.
Which one's fake?
D6. I felt like
She got the 1.
I got the 1.
Unfortunate 6 is what you wanted. As Tiku, again, you actually are able to make the athletic jump. Zephyr growing a little bit careless, finding the other illusions so quickly. He just almost like in a quick glance this time, just looks. Yeah, this one's safe. Full confidence as
It's
Tiku
lava!
jumps. Dexterity saving
As
throw.
Tiku just phases through the rock.
That's exactly what just happened. Oh my goodness.
Why'd you go first?
Why do I keep doing 2?
That's good. Is it dirty 20?
I'm okay.
Dirty
20.
Oh goodness. Thank God.
Double resistance. Well, half damage and resistance.
61,
Half
which is
to
going to be
15.
quartered
30,
to
15.
15.
Yeah, according to 15.
That's not too bad.
Okay. But as he pulls you back, that was not successful. You need to again attempt another investigation check,
Okay.
or you'll have to roll for a random jump.
Just investigation. Okay, we get 29.
This taking a little bit more of like, okay, I'm sorry. All right, this one for sure is the right rock. Charisma saving throw to start.
Slightly steaming, just glaring at Zephyr.
Athletics with disadvantage then.
I feel like it is a. This next chapter, like, why Tiku first? Why is Tiku first every time?
You better not be lying to Tiku. That's a 14.
14 athletics. Again, it's a failure, but still enough to make it on the rock. You do still need to make another dexterity saving throw, as in a similar fashion. This time, you actually completely find yourself short as both your feet hit the lava. But again, you have wings, and you're able to almost like, I know he said not to, but just kind of like and flap a little bit up.
16.
16 dexterity saving throw.
Yes.
Is a failure on this one.
Anna. What?
Oh God.
This is a really like high success challenge for.
It is.
You can thank your
we're doing
partner.
okay.
That said,
Okay.
that was an incredibly low roll, 21, which is going to be half to 10.
Oh, okay. That's actually lower than the last one.
That was extremely low. That was 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 4, and then.
Lower than the last one, which I quartered.
Okay. But you did still succeed, so now you need to start with your charisma saving throw.
Yeah.
Investigation. Oh, him.
No, you already
Yeah.
succeeded the investigation, because this is the fourth one.
He fails.
Yep, I failed. That's a 7 with the natural 1.
So 7 with a natural 1 not only means you fail, but it even means even with Tiku's help, you are unable to make it to the rock. So not only do I need a dexterity saving throw,
Wasn't that
but you will have to attempt
charisma?
again.
Yeah, this charisma.
Oh, that was the charisma
don't you
saving
need
throw?
to-
Yeah, that was a
Charisma.
charisma,
Yeah.
not.
Yeah,
Oh, apologies.
Because I have to do the charisma first.
Oh,
Sorry.
yes.
I was like,
Apologies.
So it's
wait, I just don't make
disadvantage.
it?
No.
You're so scared you don't even jump.
It's just like, no,
Walk
just
in.
falls in the lava. Apologies, but that does mean you have disadvantage on the
Disadvantage.
athletics.
Okay.
Because again,
Yeah, disadvantage.
the idea
and
is that dozens of
less
dragons are
using
imposing this.
guidance.
So many dice.
Ugh, that's not great though. Yep, that's 13.
13 is a failure, but in a similar fashion, it's enough to make it to the rock while still failing. So I need.
Dex save.
Dex save. You have advantage on dex save.
Oh yeah, advantage. That's right. Woo. 17.
17 is a success.
17's the save.
Actually alters if you fail or succeeded your last check.
Is just like Razu's, where the checks actually alter. That's a total of 33 points of damage, which would be.
16.
Halved and halved again.
But he succeeded, so it'd be half
So
twice.
8.
So it'd be 8.
8.
You should take 8 points of fire damage. However, that is the final jump. As you kind of like you hit the lava, and Tiku takes a rope, pulls you heartily onto the the lava bank.
How much damage was it again? Sorry.
8.
8 on that last one.
Okay, I did lose my concentration after that damage though.
Oof.
Right as you made it, for what it's worth.
I got 8 total. On my con.
Unfortunate.
Which is
No,
fine.
you have advantage on con.
Yeah, I rolled.
Yeah, he rolled it with
advantage.
advantage.
Oh,
We're good. We're good.
Sometimes you just roll a 2 and a 3, Tiku.
we lost on our athletics stuff.
As the as your concentration breaks and you're able to make it to the opposite bank, however, again, just as before, as you got closer to this almost what appeared to be a mountain, now appears to almost be more of a small hill that leads up to just a large bell. You still have the hammers that both of you have in your hands. And as soon as you get to the other side, the end of each of your hammers starts to glow slightly. There's a slot, it looks like, for a word on each of your hammers. It's there, but it's almost faded. To the point that at first you almost think it's an illusion. You kind of pull it up a little bit closer to yourself as Zephyr and realize it's not an illusion, but similar to when you had dealt with the Googler. It's like you can't read it. It's like they couldn't think of the names, but it's blurred from your vision.
Zephyr, there's more squiggles on this one.
I can't read that one either.
Oh, I can't read it either.
As the host of dragons in front of you, all still focused on you like they're looking at a fine meal, they seem to almost like fade away into that same black nothingness that goes out in each direction. Save one dragon.
They're going invisible. We have to be ready.
Tiku in her panic starts to look around. Zephyr gets a little bit more of a focus on the one dragon that stays. The dragon is... it would seem to be a wormling to you. Its scales seem to have almost like a gray color. It's like a white, but a dirtied white, to the point that it's almost like a white sock turned gray from muck. It has... its neck is only about a foot long, which is disproportionate, even though it is a wormling. The wormling being about 6 feet, maybe 7 feet wide. Its neck looks a little bit too short. It almost like snubbed, like it can not turn as much. And despite the wormling dragon, a long mustache that almost like curls up to the right and left off of its snout. As you kind of confused,
Hello?
as you call it hello, it simply calls back to you. I was born in flame, yet carry its light. I slumber in stone, but fly beyond sight. I am the keeper of hordes, yet own not a thing. I whisper in silence, where stars often sing. What am I? As he almost seems to fade, but rather than disappearing this time, he is pulled back, and it's almost like his essence falls back into that bell. And again, there's a word, a spot that appears in the bell. Despite the distance, you can somehow comprehend and see that there's a spot where a word needs to appear on the bell. Yours is not limited. I will put it in chat for you.
Okay, I was like, there's no way I'm going to remember this one.
That way Jasmine can have it as well.
Too fast, too fast.
Okay. With that, I am going to let you guys think on that for a
I
moment.
misunderstood the start of it anyways.
So you guys can think on that for a moment, and we are going to pivot
To
to
snow.
Razu and Kane. You stand atop a tower. Again, as a quick reminder, the top of the tower has almost a balcony that goes around it, similar to a lighthouse. There's 4 pedestals in the cardinals on the edges.
Is there railing?
There is no railing. It is just effectively would be a straight shot fall. Again, despite the incredibly small sight line, you almost, as soon as you look off the edge, get a sense, a foreboding sense of almost death that results from a fall. Maybe not death, but at least failure. What do you wish to do?
So, firstly, I would investigate the 4 pillars. You said they're marked with like the word fire or like a symbol of fire in rock?
An arcanic rune for fire. This would just be your standard arcanic runes, though.
Okay.
Each one is marked with a different element. For what it's worth, fire is in the west, earth is north, air is west, and water is south.
Got it.
East. Air is east. But yeah. Fire is west.
Yes,
Earth
I
is
said west
north,
twice, you're right.
Air is east.
Apologies.
Is that
Air is
specifically marked out?
No.
That's just based upon what we know.
Is there? You said there's a bowl on top of each pedestal, correct?
Might be a little bit loud. Yes, there's
Is there
a basin.
anything in the basins?
No, each basin is empty.
Alright. I'm going to end concentration on my polymorph, turning back into Kane.
As the large ice spider turns back into the more so dragonoid humanoid that is Mr. Kane.
Do you think we feed the fire rune, break the earth rune, blow past magic on the wind rune?
I think we utilize magic to fulfill each condition, but first, tie us to the pillar, just in case.
Okay.
In the middle, it's more of like, think there's a massive locked room. You wouldn't be able to tie yourself to it. The only thing that would actually be able to tie off to would be one of these basins. You can tie off to a basin.
That also works.
Okay. Which basin do you tie off to?
I assume we have enough rope to get to the others, so I don't think it matters. Earth?
Okay.
Just to let you know, I have the answer.
Okay.
This just got turned around.
Yes, we did turn it around. It looked really bad on camera the other way.
I was just wondering if I was tripping.
As soon as he's tied us off, I'm going to start with fire, as I believe that is the most confident one. And I'm just going to cast Produce Flame and basically place the flame into the bowl.
As soon as you cast the spell and you go to place it, the basin almost seems to take it. You'd go to bring the magic to it, and it almost like pulled the magic, not only taken from your hand, the spell seems almost gone in an instant. That focus that you have when spell casting, you don't lose the ability to cast it, but it's almost like the magic was immediately stolen as the basin alights. In addition to the basin alighting, you almost hear like a very clearly coming from the center.
We might also want to do them in order.
I was planning on it. All right.
Earth next.
I really fucking hope this works because I am not a wizard. I am then going to attempt to cast Bark Skin on the bowl. I know Bark Skin, technically you can only cast it on a willing creature, but I want to try and see if it will work.
Let me read Bark Skin real quick.
You touch a willing creature. Until the spell ends, the target's skin has a rough, bark-like appearance, and the target's AC can't be less than 16, regardless of what kind of armor it is wearing. It is similar to Stone Skin, is the reason why I'm casting it, but I do not have Stone Skin.
As you go to cast the spell, almost like going to place your hand at the basin, expecting the basin to almost encode itself in that bark-like skin. But it doesn't. Again, as you go to touch the basin, before you can even accomplish this touch spell, almost like when casting Restoration on a drunkard and the alcohol being pulled from the pores, the magic almost seems to be pulled from your hand. It almost collects in the basin, this time floating slightly above the basin, almost this ball of wood that is now spinning on itself.
Grind it?
Is that it's wood.
Can I turn my scythe into a maul? Isn't a maul kind of like a beater stick?
A maul is like a hammer. It's a very, very big hammer.
It's like almost like think like a sledgehammer.
I would change my scythe into a maul.
Do you want me to grind it?
It's a big axe. Sorry, I don't know why I said hammer. A maul is a thicker, bigger axe.
That's all right.
No, a maul it refers to a heavy hammer.
That was it.
It also is a verb meaning to scratch. Fun fact. You were right. It's a big hammer. I thought
Maul
you were.
and I got Darth Maul.
What's the big axe called then? Oh,
Don't know. It
I'll
doesn't
figure it
matter.
out later.
What do you want to do? Yes, you can turn your scythe into a giant maul.
Thought is grind the magic.
No. I have something better. Can I try and revert that and basically take this spell out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I want to take this spell out, and then I'm going to pull out 100 gold pieces worth of diamond dust and basically sprinkle them into the bowl.
Okay. Razu, you watch as Kane reaches out to almost to collect this magic. And supernaturally and curiously to you, you feel like you can take it. Similar to some of you guys have fought creatures on occasion that can quite literally steal spell slots. As you bring your hand close to this, you realize whether from you or from whatever this basin is, you have the ability to take this magic. Not only that, you realize in this moment the ability to steal magic. This is learnable. And as soon as you do, you reach your hand out and that ball almost like and hits your hand, starts to quickly encompass your hand and quickly grow over your skin. As you look at the bark getting ready to take out the diamond dust, the bark doesn't stop. As it quickly starts to grow about your body, you need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Can I just incinerate the bark?
I would allow that.
I'll just fire.
So I do need you. What are you actually doing? What spell?
I mean, I guess I don't have access to produce flame, or I still have access to produce flame.
You didn't lose the spell.
I just produce flame.
Just produce flame, do damage.
Yeah.
You're burning it off yourself.
Yeah. I mean, it's.
So go ahead and roll the damage. You'll take half the
Resistant
damage.
to fire.
You are resistant to fire. You're always resistant to fire, I'm pretty sure.
Yes. 9, 13, halved to 6.
Where are you, Razu? He's standing next to the fire pedestal.
No, he's at the
Do
rock.
I still need to make the con save?
Isn't he standing next to the stone?
He's at the
pedestal?
rock pedestal.
Mm-hmm. And where did you say you are, sorry?
I would also be by the rock pedestal, probably braced against the...
Do I still need to make
No, you would just
Okay.
be rolling damage because you're failing the save. You're choosing to burn it off yourself. So you just roll the damage and then take
During
half of it.
this, I am holding action for any movement to click the rod of immovable rod.
What is the trigger for that?
The trigger is anything that could possibly start moving us. Once we start moving and we didn't want to.
Okay. As you cast Produce Flame and it burns off, the bark does start to burn. But again, in a similar fashion, that basin, almost hungry, reaching, The magic burns the bark off and then is pulled into the basin.
Can I fight the pole?
You can. Make an Arcana check.
25.
25 is enough to lower the effect. As the fire almost pulled into the bowl, it starts to pull down, similar to the fire from before, to what was going to light. And then the bottom of the basin almost seems to harden, like rock. And there's a split moment where you hear like a... before it... and detonates. The explosion, largely subdued, but both need to make a dexterity saving throw. I will give you advantage.
I have auto advantage.
That's true.
So make this.
I was going to say advantage because of the immovable rod, but...
He has advantage anyway.
11.
Failure.
17.
Success. 22 points. So halved to 11 and then half to 5. In addition to that, as soon as that almost explosion goes off, the magic immediately seems to cease on this basin. You again hear a... and the basin of fire douses.
All right. So apparently that spell would have worked. I thought I was being clever. All right. Head back over to the fire one.
In
Replace
similar
it.
fashion, you ignite your hand, and again the fire is pulled, sucked into the basin.
I still think the diamond dust is just more intelligent. So I want to still try the diamond dust.
Okay. So you bring it over. How much diamond dust are you using?
100 gold pieces. That seems like the average.
Can I stand outside of the blast radius and then?
What's the blast radius?
What do I think the blast radius was? I could see this.
20 feet, it's a
It was a
fireball.
fire explosion, right?
If
I
you're
could
out-
see the burn marks on the
Standing in
snow.
an explosion that goes behind you. Tell me how far behind you it went.
The snow melted. I could see the melted
There
snow.
is no snow on top of this tower.
Scorch marks.
Despite the fact that the snow is hitting you, it seems to almost disappear when it hits the stone.
Is the wind still really bad, or does it feel like it stops?
Wind is extremely bad.
It's magic.
Just give me a distance. How far do you think it is? I'll tell you that Fireball's radius is 20 feet.
I mean, I'd stand 20 feet back.
Okay. As you take your diamond dust, a little bit cautiously this time, you kind of hold it out in a similar fashion, worried that the wind's going to pick it up. However, again, contrary to your typical thought process, it instead seems to pull towards the basin. In fact, the wind almost seems to change to where it takes that diamond dust, hits the basin, and almost immediately upon hitting it, the entire basin turns to diamond.
Okay.
And again, you hear a...
All right. Make my way over to air now, and I have no idea if this is going to work, but we're going to try. So
Cast
there are...
wall of force around it so that the wind is calm on the
I
basin.
don't have fucking wall of force.
It's
I ain't
genius,
a wizard.
bro. It's genius.
However, mine's also just as genius, I feel like. I am going to be casting Absorb Elements. And specifically, I'm trying to basically absorb the cold, absorb the wind, to basically make the air calm. And the spell captures some of the incoming energy, lessening its effect on you. Technically, it is only a self-cast spell, but again, I think this is a little bit of a unique situation, so I am attempting.
He's trying to cast it and let it get sucked.
Basically, I'm just trying to calm the storm just above the basin with Absorb Elements.
Okay. Again, as you start to cast this spell, almost focusing on the storm, the elements, almost, again, contrary to the way that you would normally spellcast, you find yourself in this moment focusing more on the storm. The spell almost becomes secondary to the nature of the storm. As you almost like kind of shake it off for a moment as you cast the spell, and this time it does not seem to be pulled. But the wind and the snow surrounding the basin almost seems to freeze in place. You can see that snowfall still in the area, but around a foot radius around it, it seems stuck in motion.
All right.
This time you hear like a slight click, and in a moment, the world is frozen. All the snow, all the wind, everything has stopped. You can actually now see for miles. You appear to be in a massive mountain range.
Thank the Lord.
What the hell just happened?
Is there a river?
Can I Arcana check to figure out what the fuck I just did?
You can try.
I'm gonna
Guidance?
look just everywhere I can see. Is there water? Frozen over water? Just water in any capacity? Rivers?
Not be guidance.
Okay. As you start to look around, you look for water, you look for other sources. You don't really see water, but you do notice the mountain that that you guys had climbed. There's odd mounds all over it, with large, almost stretches torn through snow, largely filled, but also a testament to how large these almost gouges in the snow are. And there's dozens of them that all seem to be crawling towards the top. It looks like something is crawling up the mountain through the snow towards the tower.
We have a problem.
What'd you get?
35.
35? You are 100% confident that you didn't do it.
Okay.
And that this magic, whatever this basin is something alien to society. Like, from
no way I
the
could
wizard
learn.
schools, from what you've seen doing with Zephyr and his more so divine magic, even from the possessions of Talos or the embodiment of the fire elemental, this is a different style of magic.
With how my magic works and how I'm basically able to connect, could I try and connect?
You can.
I feel like this is something to learn, and I feel like this is cool.
For what it's worth, Kane also feels like there is something about this magic that not only is like interesting, just because of your study of the Arcana, the interest you have in rune weaving, but this is almost like when you had seen rune weaving and thought like this is a different kind of spell casting, almost a different magic. This is the same feeling. This is completely alien magic.
I want to try.
Okay. How do you want to try and connect with it? Do you simply want to try in a similar way? So the way that I would say that you can think, it seemed almost like steal your magic. The only way that you can think of to truly connect is merge your magic. Give it all to it and see what happens. Another would be simply effectively try and analyze it. This would be much more analytical. This would just be a straight Arcana check. Going to be extraordinarily difficult, just so you know. Honestly, I would say those, unless you can think of something, those are the only two that I would give you right offhand that you think might be able to work. You're like, I might be able to analyze this. For one, just so you know, it'd take you a while. Or you can give yourself to it and see what happens.
We don't have a while.
Can I, third option, instead of merging myself, merge an item I'm attuned to, as I assume attuning is like a soul deep connection, so it'd be kind of similar process.
What item do you want to use?
I want to use specifically my ice necklace. Basically, I have Orlavel's golden scale, and then I have the ice. I think it's called the Cold Fire Phoenix Amulet.
Yes, I remember it.
Basically, the dichotomy of fire and ice is basically what I'm going for.
Okay. Which basin do you want to try and merge it with?
I mean, we only have one left, so if I can kill two birds with one stone, but that might be too greedy. I'm a dragon. I'm greedy. we'll do water.
This
guy's grieving!
As Kane walks over to the last basin, Razu, you look at it and you're like, all right, what's his plan? What kind of water we got? As you're like looking for water, you watch him pull a necklace from his neck, from around his neck, unsnapping it, not just ripping it, as he does seem to have a respect for it as you pull it out. And almost as you go to present to the basin, again in a similar fashion to the spell, but rather than pulling the stone itself, as you bring the magic item, or as you bring your Phoenix Amulet towards it, you can see almost strands of energy, of light, that seem to fracture and pull. And in a moment, just... And even without any kind of detect magic, any kind of sense, the amulet's magic is gone. This is not but a trinket now. A fairly expensive one.
So it didn't work?
As those essences start to swirl in the bottom of that basin, I actually need to double check something about your amulet to see what this effect would be.
Specifically,
Let me just read it.
it gives an AoE 10 feet cold resist. It gives, when you drop to 0 HP, you drop to 1 instead, and you get 25 temp HP. It's basically like a 5th level armor of Actus. Basically has those three effects. it recharges once every 3 days. It was kind of cool.
This might be a mistake. Not for you, for me. As it seems to almost get pulled into it, the magic just almost starts to swirl for a moment. And again, Raza, you immediately find yourself just clicking as that magic and seems to almost like explode. Expecting to hit, you watch as it instead curves and curls around Kane. Almost starts to encompass him. So it surrounds you. In that moment, your max HP would be increased by 15. You would gain 10 cold res.
10 cold res?
You reduced cold damage by 10. If you ever are hit by an instance of cold damage, you will take 10 off of it before any kind of result.
Okay.
Before or after resistance?
That is just flat
So
off the
if
top,
I-
and then...
No, I feel like you should do after resistance because
you're talking
if I reduce it
damage.
to half and
Yes.
then reduce it by 10.
Yes. So you just have 10 cold res. The cold resist aura, unfortunately, is just gone. However, you also feel like you understand, to a small degree, what just happened. You almost feel, despite the fact that it's not something you've ever experienced, when you've seen dragons or Orlevel consume both food or, in Orlevel's case, gold, as he actually eats gold, you almost get this sense of the feeling that he has, the nourishment. It's very similar to eating a full meal. But rather than satiating hunger, it instead seems to almost satiate magic. You don't know exactly how it works, but there's an element to this, almost a magic eating nature to it. As then it would be rejected and explode. Each of you need to make dexterity saving throws.
This fucking guy.
14.
One more.
14.
44 points of cold damage. 14 is a fail. What'd you get?
Also 14.
That is also a fail. So
Dex
44.
Use blood search.
This is a dexterity save.
17.
17 is a
What are you
success.
using?
Blood search.
Oh, right. Yours is saving throws.
Half to 22 for you, and then you would be taking technically
34.
full, but it would be reduced by 10. That is a permanent attribute, by the way. Your item is gone.
Yeah,
It is destroyed.
I'm aware.
And again, you would hear and all
at
three of the
dawn
basins.
or
The
every
diamond
instant?
basin would return to its normal form. The fire would go out. The storm resumes.
Why did you give the water ice? It's not water. It's not flowing freely.
My thought process was to create ice and then melt it to allow the water to flow freely.
It didn't work. Try
I am
again.
aware. I do not have a plan for water.
By the way, we do not have time. There are mounds coming to us. We are being hunted.
As you look, your visual's gone. You can again maybe see 2-3 feet in front of
Shit.
you.
All right. Well, we know the first three, and I'm just going to repeat the first three.
Okay. You do
100
again need
more
to
gold,
consume
yeah.
the diamond dust.
I'm aware. I have no idea how to solve water. I have
Melt.
no spells for water.
Melt the snow. Make it rain.
Well, when he casts the freezy thing, the snow is frozen in the air.
Yeah,
So
it's
once he
not
repeats
moving.
the air, everything would freeze again.
It's not moving, but if you melt it, it becomes water.
Problem is, as soon as I cast spells, it thinks that's what I'm trying to use.
Do you have a water spell?
No, that's what I'm saying. I got nothing.
Everyone has a water spell.
You start to. You guys can hear,
do you-
even through
what
the
do you
sound, or sorry, even through the storm, you guys can hear almost like a nail grinding through stone. The tower itself almost slightly shakes, like something just hit it.
I didn't realize this was gonna be a produce the four elements kind of thing. I only have those three spells. I guess I
have
could
a
just try
water
absorb
skin?
elements again. What?
Water skin is probably completely frozen, but is it?
You want to try?
I grab my water skin. I can just feel it. Is it frozen?
It's not. In fact, it doesn't even feel cold to touch. You have a container that's frozen inside. Typically, it's going to be extremely cold to your hand, almost ice on the outsides. Seems completely normal.
Can you manipulate water? Or you have it?
I cannot. I'm not a water wizard.
As his hand is still slightly charred from the fire spell from earlier.
Okay.
I'm gonna just try something. I want to try and activate the water rune using rune weaving.
Make a rune weaving check. Also,
Bardic Inspiration.
How long are you willing to
Just
spend
a
on
minute cast. Wait.
Hold up. Minute cast. There are things at the bottom of this tower.
How much time does it look like we have?
Don't know.
Okay, well, I mean, the
Well,
thing's
he
frozen, so we can.
Oh no, sorry. Yes, that is true. You read. That was.
looks like you have about a
They're about a
minute.
quarter of the way up.
How fast are they moving?
One
I,
might-
just quick calculations. Just
You imagine you'd actually probably got about 3 minutes.
okay. We are gonna try a minute cast, and we're not gonna fucking fail. I swear.
Okay, so I'm gonna need rune weaving to start. Actually, I think I want to do this the other way. I'm gonna quickly change this. Because you're doing a rune weaving cast, it's a minute long. I'm gonna do the concentration checks up to the cast at the end.
what I could do.
I'm going to transform into my dragon form to have a higher con plus. Actually, you have a chance of passing this.
Is that a spell?
No, it's just a innate ability. Transform into. I wouldn't have done it otherwise.
Good.
And plus 7. Just don't roll a 2. Oh, thank God. That is a pass on the concentration check, and then the rune weaving check is same roll, 13.
It could be more than
13. It's actually still enough for rune weaving after if you're willing
I
to
also
spend
give
a
you Bardic
minute on
Inspiration,
it.
by the way. That did happen. I did say that.
D6 or D8?
D6.
He is a low level bard.
17.
That does alter the effect. Okay, as you start to study this rune, you again actually realize something new. This is actually something that not even Zephyr has noticed, or even Theric in that brief time that you were talking with him, almost that discussion you had over rune weaving. This rune for water is actually similar. Almost how languages are derived, or words in languages, how we have words in English that are derived from Latin. This water rune is derived from rune weaving. You know in your head the rune for water, and while at first it seemed very different, this is instead a simplified. This is a simplified version of rune weaving, made for quicker casts, not as powerful, but also much more versatile. But with that, spending the minute on it, realizing that, and the little bit of rune weaving knowledge that you do have, tracing the rune with your knowledge, you are able to effectively activate it, imbuing it with some of your own magic. While not water-style magic, it is almost like the essence of your magic seems to change. You are going to consume a spell slot.
Just first level?
Of your lowest level, whatever you have available. But as the spell is consumed, it's not like you cast a spell. It is, again, almost more of like it was stolen to do a desired effect. The basin just seems to almost fill with water. And again, one of the walls of the six-sided
Hexagon.
Yeah, one of the walls of the hexagon just.
Say less.
I'm in.
Razu immediately turns, looks inside, and there is an individual, clean-shaved, bald head, shirtless, wearing just what appears to be shorts that come just above his knee. They're ragged and torn, and covered in what appears to be moss. There's bookshelves all throughout the room. There's a table in front of him with a chest at the base. And that is where we're going to...
Okay. I have to ask a question. Could they have peed on it? Would that have worked?
You also could have just poured your water skin on it.
But I thought it had to be magical.
Could have peed on it.
I also
Confirmed.
was trying to go with magical more than not magical.
It's fine. I think it was great. And you, again, have learned something. Welcome to the beginnings of what I have in mind for you.
I literally asked if there's a water skin. If that didn't work, I was going to do it.
So I am swapping to you because I want to give you the next step, assuming you guys get this right.
All right, Tiku, what do you think it is?
Think what is?
The the riddle he just said to us.
That was. What's a riddle?
Tiku, okay. You heard the words he said, right?
Right.
Okay. What do you think the answer to those words would be if it was all part of one word?
Make all of those words into one word?
No, it describes a word. Like, if I said like an animal that couldn't fly, laid eggs, and clucked, what would you think that would be?
Penguin.
Cockroaches.
They can definitely fly.
So like,
Carry on.
No.
They can fly. Never mind. That doesn't work.
You guys have literally fought one.
Dodo.
Those went extinct forever ago.
No, they are not. Tickle cooks dodos. When she invented stomach car, she cooked lots of dodos.
Where?
And T-Rexes and raptors and...
Oh, okay. I was trying to say chicken would be the answer, but that's effectively the idea.
Chickens are just smaller dodos.
No, that's the idea of a riddle. He described a thing, and we're supposed to decide what that thing is. Okay, it's darkness.
The little dodos, what you're talking about.
We're moving on past that, Piku.
He was born before...
And if it
fire.
wasn't darkness, it blows my mind that the answer wasn't initially darkness.
Oh, it's not. I'm just trying to decide if it works.
Born before fire, but it carries like the Big Bang.
Wait, you...
Tiger doesn't
the
know
Big Bang
basic
is.
math. The Big Bang. I know about that. It's not real event because in this world, the beginning of the universe is not only something that's known. You have seen it. You literally experienced it.
Yeah, it was
False
crazy.
science. That's false science.
In the vision, it was like a big shiny light.
That theory came out before magic was founded to be a usable source. I'll be so shocked if darkness doesn't fit all those, because like
Is there ever a time?
He
in
said- I
I don't
the
think
history-
darkness fits.
because light can't like you couldn't tell light exists without the dark and vice versa, right?
Actually, no. Darkness is the absence of light, so you could tell if darkness was there without light.
I was born before the flame.
Darkness exists
Okay, it's
at all
light.
times. Light is what gets rid of darkness.
Yeah. But like
I slumber in stone, but fly beyond sight.
Darkness is always there.
Like if there was only light, like you would have no contrast, right?
I sleep
That's what I'm
in
saying.
stone,
So it carries light.
but fly beyond sight.
All right.
Is it like
Yeah.
a
I'm gonna go
rocket?
democratic on this.
Okay.
I actually don't think it
You
should.
don't think so?
I honestly.
Okay.
But I think it's close. So I'm actually gonna let the table vote on it. Trees, yes. I am no.
I'm also no.
So it says it slumbers in stone, but flies beyond sight.
We got
Does that mean it's a
The
rock?
reason why I say it's no is
Like the
I
flying
whisper in
birds.
silence. How does darkness whisper in silence? Is the only line that's not making sense to me.
Born before the flame. Yeah, carry its light.
What definition of whisper are you using?
You can vote too, Jasmine.
Slumber in stone.
Alright.
but fly beyond sight.
Whispers on the wind, you could
But
for example,
whispers always include sound of some kind.
Space.
also have the
Well, like
wave that he carries.
so the way I was thinking of the whisper is like in a dark cave. What's
doesn't necessarily include sound.
in a dark cave, you typically hear subtle noises happening.
Lower your
I
volume,
didn't
Bo.
hear what you said.
You typically hear like subtle noises in like a dark cave,
Mhm.
right? But it's when no one's there, you hear those noises.
That's just your tinnitus.
You hear trees rustle when in the middle of the night when there's no one talking.
Space.
Right. That was my idea behind the whispers.
It can
But-
work. It's just. I think
Also,
I can't
when you're
it's
scared.
way better.
I can't pull up Discord.
Also, when you're
I don't know why it's
scared,
not working.
sometimes you think you are hearing things when you're not.
It's
The
not
mental toll of darkness.
Really? All right.
I think it's gas.
Nope.
Oh, okay, well.
I still.
Okay.
Okay, Jasmine votes in favor. So that's 1, 2, 3, 1,
I mean,
2.
if the answer is gas, I'm gonna say no.
The answer is definitely not gas.
Nothing.
I feel like gas. Also
You got 3 against, 2 in favor, but I need the 3 of you. I'll let you vote too. But
What if it's nothingness or spice?
It might not be the answer, but would it work?
gas fills all those requirements.
Gas.
I'm telling you, it's a Big Bang.
How does gas own a horde, Brett? How does gas own a horde?
I need a vote. Do you guys
Gas
also
is made
agree
up of
that darkness fits 4?
hundreds
Again, we're
of
doing this
different
democratically.
things.
I need to kind of know what the answer is to know if
I can't tell you what the answer is because if we say no,
If you know the answer, you can say the answer.
So I would say yes because
you
the
come look
mental
at the
toll
answer.
of darkness.
I will let you come look
is
at the answer.
whispers.
I'll let you look at the answer too, Nate. Tell me if that should count.
I think.
So this is the answer.
Because it's almost like fudging the dice. If it's not the answer, but it's close.
Wait.
Yeah,
It's not
well,
even-
I think for riddles, it's more important about whether the
yeah,
answer
because
fits.
and also the riddles are like
That answer doesn't make sense.
I disagree entirely.
it's like he's
No,
like
I'm
the
curious.
answer of the riddle doesn't make sense.
No, the yet carry its
Okay.
light is why it's not making sense to me. Like it fits every other line, but the carry its light makes no sense.
He's giving you hints.
Okay, so ignore this part.
I think gas makes the most sense.
If he doesn't, okay, so if he doesn't think that that works for that, if he doesn't like the original one,
I would say darkness works because that makes no fucking sense to me.
No, I understand why that's the answer.
I see bits and
I would not
pieces,
have
but I
come up
see
with
bits
that
and
answer.
pieces why darkness makes sense too.
Okay, so you think darkness is just as close as the answer as that?
Yes.
Okay, you go with darkness, right? I think that's a fair assessment.
We've come to
I think
talk
now,
with you.
now I
Gets
need
rid
to
of a
know
line,
what
and I think
your
darkness
answer
gets
was.
rid of a
now.
line.
Now I need to know what your
But
answer
gas
is.
doesn't. Gas doesn't get rid of any of them.
I think it works incredibly well for it, and it was the theme of the riddle as well.
And the
I just don't understand the
visions
yet carry its light.
softly.
Doesn't matter though. The vote was in favor of darkness. We're gonna give it. Okay, back to game.
Okay, I need to know what was your answer on that.
Knowledge.
Knowledge?
My answer was photons, which I think
What?
works really well.
Hold on, let me read this.
Read it away. But for now, going back into the game, none of that actually happened. In game, as Zephyr's like, whatever, it's darkness. Tiku, the hammer in your hands seems to almost lose its color, seems to go black. And
You
dull.
broke my hammer.
At the same time, Zephyr's hammer seems to go alight, almost turning white, glowing. Similar to like when you think in any cartoon, when you see an angel. Zephyr,
To me, it's the.
Okay, sorry.
your hammer has got your hammer lit up, bright, almost.
Thank God.
It very much so seems to almost be glowing, and hers seems to almost be vacant of light. Again, there's a bell at the top of the hill.
Okay, that's.
Hit together.
So we gotta go up the hill first.
Oh, right. Okay.
As you get again closer to the hill, it seems to get smaller to the point where you get at the base. It's only a few steps to the top. You walk up to the bell. Again, it has that spot almost where it seems like a word is missing. But then also above that, you again see a familiar depiction. You see a dragon. Its arm hung over a pocket watch. Its arm, one of the hands of the clock.
Riddle? That this is riddle.
Oh, this is the Dragon King.
There's nothing that hints at knowledge.
This is
Why is this a Dragon King?
it's kind of the symbology, right? The whole time dragon thing.
And gas made more sense.
I thought it was 9.
Have you not been paying attention, Tiku?
It's all right.
What am I paying attention
Doesn't
to?
matter anymore.
Do you realize who the Dragon King is?
No.
You haven't been paying any attention.
Okay, Kayla just realized something, but
No.
That made me very curious what Kayla just realized. Carol, what are you guys doing?
What are we supposed to do, Zephyr?
Okay, and you said there's like some faded out words, right?
In
That
a
we
similar
can't- that we
fashion
can't
where you
read?
couldn't read the word on your hammer, which, just so you know,
Yeah.
on yours it says knowledge, and on hers it says darkness. The
Okay.
words are now visible. The word on the bell is still gone.
We don't have any additional riddle here, and you said it's just the dragon with the watch, right?
It's just the symbol of the Dragon King, as you've seen it many times. Dragon laying over a pocket watch with one of its arms resting as one of the clock faces.
Do we hit it together?
I mean, it seems like that'd be the case. I'm just looking around, make sure I don't see anything.
You look around again. That endless darkness that you seem to start in, where this almost like became almost a light in it, seems to have actually encroached. You can't even see the lava river behind you anymore. You can barely see to the base of the hill you just climbed, despite the fact that it was only about 6 feet up.
See, darkness totally whispers. It's creepy. Can you hear that? Nothing. Actually, there's lava noises. So it's not going.
There's nothing else. I doubt this would matter, but the hands on the clock, where do they point to?
So you'd be pointing to 3. So
Hit
one
it
is
together 3
one is hung
times.
over noon, and then the other would be to the right.
Hit it 3 times.
We're both gonna hit the bell together first. We'll see what happens.
Okay, ready?
Set.
Cowabunga!
I like to think that like as you guys go to hit, like Zephyr's like, and Tika's like, just slams the bell. As you hear like, despite the force behind Tiku's hit, the bell barely seems to move. It moves, almost with no sound other than the thunk of the hammer hitting, before the metal device inside actually swings back to his side, and you hear a gung, gung. And then as the last one hits, it goes. The sound almost distorts.
The bell got eaten.
It almost seems like it burned, like a fire that just. In that moment, you kind of like, what is that? You almost like look around. You look back, the bell is gone. You guys are back in that almost endless darkness.
I don't know if we did it
Good.
right.
Darkness, my old
About
friend.
30 feet. About 30 feet away from you, you see a faint light that seems to almost start to pulse.
Oh, I found it.
I think we go that way. Tika, go check it out.
I already was on the way the minute.
I'll be right here. We'll make sure nothing attacks you from behind.
Last time Tiku had to go first. I burned. And the previous time, I found an abomination.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to go first? Are you scared?
Maybe. Fine. Tiku, go first.
Okay. I'll make sure you don't get attacked from back here.
Tiku's gonna hold the hammer behind her. And he aims for.
I'm still following behind.
Tiku takes the hammer, and you turn, and you take a step, and in a moment, you almost like you can see yourself.
By the way, we're still roped together, just so you know.
Okay. In a moment, as you turn and you think to step, you almost have this almost a out of body experience. As you can see Tiku and you can see Zephyr. Tiku is about to take a step, and then half of her is gone. Blood
Don't
dripping.
stop! Tiku, stop! Tiku, stop!
Blood dripping from what is now a half-eaten torso.
What are you screaming about?
As you look in front of Tiku, you can see that in that darkness, moving slowly, there is a massive figure. Almost, so think the scale of the serpent when you guys were sailing in the previous campaign. There's a maw below Tiku, below both of you actually.
The darkness is not your friend!
There is another, and then another, and you are surrounded by these.
There's eating mouse!
And then Tiku's looking forward. Tiku's looking forward, thinking about she's about to step.
Don't move!
Does Tiku just hear herself tell her not to move?
Oh no, Tiku just so that was an instant.
Okay.
So technically, Zephyr would not have heard Tiku do any of that. He would have just seen Tiku turn. She's like, okay, she turns, and she just.
I feel like she still yells, Tiku, don't move.
You guys are sitting in a pitch black version of Dune.
Tiku, why'd you stop? And why are you screaming?
You can hear the word.
I'm pretty sure there's mouse that
I
way.
just muted it. I'm sorry.
There's mouse that way.
Mute system sounds.
That's what I just did.
Tiku just herself got disembodied. You know, like her body got eaten. Half of it.
Where did you learn that word, anyways?
It's when like you have your body gets eaten, no?
I mean, I'm just surprised you knew that word.
Eaten. There's mouse everywhere around us.
As Tiku goes through this drama, you kind of having a conversation with her. You almost find yourself looking a little bit past her to that glowing, that almost like glowing light, Zephyr, that draws your attention. You can see a figure in it. It looks similar to the dragon that you undergo the challenge from. Silver scales, although a little bit darker, a little bit closer to platinum, one might say. Also standing on his hind legs, much like the dragon you've seen before, but unlike this first dragon, he has humanoid appendages on his front legs, or it might be better to say his arms. Still two large wings that protrude from his back, but also no neck. Almost to the point that its head almost seems mounted on the top of it. It looks very odd. The hands seem to almost be. It is almost like he's trying to crack his knuckles, holding in place, and his head almost kind of planted, is kind of like looking back and forth between his hands.
Do you see the mouse too?
You call out to him. He kind of like looks down at it. He reaches and he seems to grab something. And as he grabs it, your arm seems to go dead. Ah! Completely lifeless. The hammer falls to the ground.
Ah!
He lets go of it. And motion comes back to your arm. Kind of confused, he starts to play with it again. Grabs another string. And your world goes dark, Zephyr. You watch as Zephyr collapses to the floor behind you. As again, he looks up, almost kind of panicked, lets go, and then you open your eyes. You have no idea what happened.
What are you doing? Stop doing that.
But you're on the floor.
I know what's happening. I have a good idea what's happening.
As he continues to look at each of them.
Tiku's gonna grab the hammer and smash forward in front of her onto the ground.
Okay. As Tiku takes the hammer, Zephyr about to call out, she slams down at the hammer in front of her, and the floor seems to crack, just and almost starts to shatter out in a direction from you. You can't see it as the blackness, but you hear the sound of almost glass just falling, as it sounds like a massive mirror was just shattered. This creature, this dragonoid-like, almost a humanoid dragon would be a better way to say it. So he continues, he looks down, he looks almost like he's watching the glass fall. Just has this almost trying to be human, but due to the dragonoid features, despite the lack of a neck, this, again, alien smile as he kind of, and the ground seems to fall out from under him. And you find yourself back in the cave. The silver dragon standing over you, hand placed on your chest. You are currently laying. You're currently laying on your back. Zephyr, you are also laying on your back, but a few feet away. And the female elf is holding her hand over your head. As you kind of come to, thank God he wasn't supposed to show up here. I apologize. And now we're gonna go to you two.
Who the fuck? Good work, Tiku.
I had the darkness hammer. I had to hit the darkness with the darkness hammer.
I am pretty sure I wrote down the initiative for you guys as
trying to figure out how to get to the thing.
Mr. Clay Beekman and Gurgle. The Luxodon was attempted to be saved. However, unfortunately, immediately after the dragon had called out, or laughed out, I should say, the elementals had spawned, all very clearly with hostile intent towards you, as they not only start to grow from the lava, they all look towards you with distorted faces made of rock, no eyes, but instead the visage of both humanoids and beasts.
Weren't we closer?
They flipped. They flipped the
We
table.
did not move the arena.
We're going that way.
No, but I mean the minis, because I could have swore we weren't at the starting point.
We're not.
Gurgle.
Yeah.
So you're
We
on,
just didn't move you.
you're on Gurgle's back, so I.
He just never moved you.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that. And then we can also do this. As this is actually started. Okay, so we did get initiative last time. Gurgle,
Sorry, I'm trying to fix it.
Excuse me, nat
Oh,
20.
it's both of you. Yeah, both of you go.
First time I rolled over a 20 was initiative, or over a 10.
I do remember. It's both of you. The
I ain't gonna let
elementals.
you forget that.
The elementals have started to erupt from the ground. In addition, the one thing that I did not mention previously, and this was just a accident by myself, I apologize. The two stone dragons also seem to. We've turned it back to a seizure. The two stone dragons almost seems to crack the stonework, giving way to what is more so a gargoyle-like aspect to the dragons. What do you wish to do?
Wait, they went and they ate the Luxodon, then they went back, turned to stone, and then now they're breaking again?
Indeed.
So is this...
Well, specific. It's better to say. So he wouldn't have turned back to stone. He would have ate the Luxodon, then come back.
Are these...
This one is the one that's starting to crack.
Are these rows, are these considered difficult terrain?
Very much so. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to cast Freedom of Movement on...
And Gurgle.
Gurgle. I wanted to call him Tiku so much, and I know that's not him. And so, I'll cast Freedom of Movement on Gurgle. So now he is no longer affected by difficult terrain.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, run, bitch!
I mean, I was already gonna do that. But you gotta stay on this time. You keep falling off.
It's not my fault that you are not. You are a very slippery amphibian. All right.
True. It's a good reasoning behind why Clay keeps falling. He like goes to grab and it's just like.
Well, pretty sure I could just make it to the cave.
Do you wish to just go?
Yeah, I'd just go into the cave entrance.
Okay. This one is adjacent to you, so provoke an attack of opportunity. Unless you want to disengage. Do you want to provoke the attack, or do you want to disengage before going?
I mean, you're a rogue. You just bonus action disengage.
Keep in mind as well, there is almost the gas that has started to emanate from the arena as well. At this point, it'll only be about this far off the ground. Did it fall?
Well, I broke off the...
Is there an exit back at the start?
There's not. Again, it just goes back to lava. This is also all lava.
Okay, so we don't know any foreseeable exit except the fire path and the water path.
Yep, those are the only ways you can even go.
I think I'm just gonna rush the cave. So I guess
Dash and bonus action dash.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's even worth reducing my movement speed because I don't know how much this is gonna be hard. So I'm just gonna take the opportunity attack.
Okay. It says, dragon down. Jesus.
Oh, sweet!
This was our
plan the whole time.
That was really bright.
Did we win?
I was like looking right into a laser.
Just 30
You got that.
We're going to the water room.
It's like a
Cloud rune.
It's like a.
DIY.
It's like a 9 to hit.
I have to have
LASIK surgery.
something. I have to have something. I have to have something
Dude, my
to
eyes
direct it
watering.
towards.
It's anything within 30 feet of it.
Also, I use my cloud rune.
30.
No. Straight forward jump.
Oh,
Right over his head. Right over that one's head. Because I assume the cave's over there.
Cave entrance is right here.
Okay, then we'll just run over to the corner and jump.
You're 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. We get you to the edge of the cave. I'm gonna put you right here. The map wasn't quite big enough to actually make my cave. Whoa!
I've 130 movement right now.
The cave itself is only 15 feet wide. As you enter inside, the only thing in the cave, funnily enough, is another basin. But in the center of this basin, there is what appears to almost be a coal. It is small it is almost like kind of small on one end, going out to 2 points, almost like an arrow where part of it has been shaved off. Almost an elongated coal-like stone that has streams or streaks of lava that seem to be cracking it. Live maintenance.
So it's just a podium and there's nothing else in there?
It is a basin. So just like the basins that they had found, this one... Jesus! Probably should have done this on break.
Probably.
Too late.
Win.
Is what it is.
It's fine.
Live maintenance. We're fine. This podium also has the rune of fire on it. Also, the one last thing
Has
for what
the
it's worth.
rune of fire on it?
Yes, just like the basins that they have, where at the base of the basin, it's got the rune of fire, and there's an open basin on the top, and then there's this, again, almost it looks like a coal, a very, very hot coal.
But this
and
was the water path.
Mm-hmm. And then there is the one last thing is that piece of coal does seem to be floating, about 2 inches above the basin.
Okay, then I'm gonna pour my water skin on it and press the digitation and freeze it, because I don't think I had to use the third dash.
Okay, you would not to get to it. So that would be another 15 feet. Walk over to it.
Well, I won't even freeze it. I'll cool it. I'll cool the coal down.
Okay, so that would be your action to use prestidigitation. As you walk over and you cast prestidigitation on it, the magic again almost seems to pull into the basin. Rather, you're thinking to use it on the stone, but instead
I think
it
it's
seems
fire. And I'm trying to cool it down because it said the thing that messes with fire.
Indeed.
At least the rune.
The prestidigitation, the water, seems to almost get pulled into the bottom of the basin, and it pools slightly. It makes more water than prestidigitation should be able to make.
Yeah, he didn't make
Prestidigitation doesn't make water.
He poured his water skin.
I poured water skin on it. And then I'm casting prestidigitation to cool the water down. To like basically try to
it would slightly change it.
I'm trying to make the stone, because you said it was steaming, I'm trying to cool it down.
Yeah. So it slightly changes as you pour the water into it and then you cast prestidigitation. The water at the bottom of the basin almost seems to fill. The basin itself, probably it's a decent sized bowl, maybe about 4 inches tall. Despite the small amount of water that you pour into it and use to try and cool down this rock as you're looking to pour it over it, the basin seems to almost like quickly fill, leaving you with a bowl that seems to be full of water, the stone inside. The water slightly sizzling around it. Seems to have cooled it down.
I think that's the thing that we're supposed to take.
Indeed.
I don't have an action left.
I cast the spell. Can I grab it with a bonus action?
Just grabbing an item would just be an item action. So
I'll just grab it with an item.
Clay reaches out and grabs the stone. Both of you have almost an image in your head immediately. You can't quite process it immediately. There's almost a portal that opens up. That same almost like fire and blackness. This song is really loud. Let me turn this down. It's that same kind of fire and blackness that is... What even is this song? There we go. Nope, that's not it. We're doing great. That was in the back of the dragon's throat. And yes, there's a doorway that has opened up here.
Okay. He said we're gonna keep this artifact. It just looks like a lump of coal. I feel like we got duped.
Well, whatever, I'm keeping it.
Didn't he also say the artifact was at the top of a mountain?
Mm-hmm. This whole thing's up.
It is very much what it's like. Hard to do that with a map. Everything would just go off the side.
I'm intelligent. Trust.
Let's go in the portal. I'm gonna go in the portal.
Well, the portal's all the way back there. We gotta go all the way through.
Oh, we only saw it in our heads.
Yeah, almost a slight vision that appeared in your head.
All right, well, let's turn around and I guess head back.
I don't want
15-15.
I don't want to move out. I want to stay in the cave because that way there's only one creature that could potentially hit us.
I don't see your logic here, because the other creatures aren't going away.
Right, but there can only be one that can get to us.
Are you saying to bottleneck them as they're coming to attack us?
No. I only have 15 feet of movement. If we move out more of them can get to us.
You have 45 feet, right? Total?
I have 70.
He has 35. It's his base
so
is
it's 35.
Yeah, I have
So
70.
if you want to go to the entrance of the cave, it was 15 in, so you would have 20 feet left. You can get 5 feet out of the cave.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to. What he wants to do is we want to hold our
I wanna
action, let
hold-
the monsters move, and then we move through the monsters.
And then we just book it. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Because that way, also, we've got cover in the cave, which means if the dragon wants to attack, he's not going to be able to hit us.
Okay. So you want to go to the entrance of the cave. So you're going to be like right on the edge there.
I don't want to be
And then that's
out of the cave.
We're
I
still
want to
in
be
the
like 10
cave.
feet in.
We are in the cave.
Yeah, well, I want to be 10
If they
feet
want to
in.
get to us, they have to come in the
I guess
cave.
that wouldn't be the entrance. That would be considered inside. You're just inside.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair,
Far enough
fair,
back
easy
that the
enough.
only way a dragon could get to us is if it blew fire at us, which there's nothing we can do about that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm hiding behind you, girl.
Okay.
The problem with rogues is I can dodge AoEs. I don't think you can.
No.
Unfortunately, he cannot. All right. Then... Hold up.
Also, I don't know how fast these fire elementals can move. I think only one of them could potentially get to us in time. Everything
All right.
else, I think, would have to dash to us.
Speed of 40. So you can just make it. You can get to the entrance of the cave. You have some dash.
You wouldn't happen to have haste, would you?
I indeed do.
You would also...
I need you to cast that on us next turn.
40. Allies don't block line of sight. 40. But he would have the dash because he wouldn't have line of sight. 40. Okay, so only the one that was right next to you would be able to make it to melee range,
Is
and then
that-
this one has a ranged attack. Oh, there's...
Is that elemental not moving? Okay.
I couldn't see him.
But can he shoot me from where he is?
Little guys? Yes.
Oh, the little guy's okay.
Little guys, absolutely.
He got
can.
pewed.
So he is full. He's full cover behind me.
Yeah, they're
for
all attacking
anything
you.
that's shooting straight at us.
Yes, they are all attacking you. Okay, so first off, on Gurgle, we got 2 attacks. The lower is a 17, which I believe is a miss, and then a 22.
Also a miss. Oh wait, hold on.
22 is a miss?
No. I'm gonna cast.
Shield?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna take it. I'll take the hit. I think 22 is my armor class. I think
Okay.
if you meet the armor class, you hit.
Correct.
That is correct.
Tie
And
goes to
then
roller or defender.
The little guy actually got a 24 and a 26 with his two
Shit.
two
Maybe I should have.
flame hurls.
Maybe I should have just shielded.
I should say then. Tie goes to roller, then defender. That's a better way to say that.
First attack is
It's fine. It's fine.
28 points of fire damage. That's from the big one in front of you.
So 14.
14.
Oh, he only can hurl flame once. Sorry. He only hit you once. That's good. Listen, I looked at the number of dice and was like, he can do that twice? And the second attack is 36 points of fire damage.
18.
Those are the only ones that hit me?
Those are the only ones that hit you, yes.
Okay, so 18, and then what was the
14,
first
then
one?
18.
14 and 18. I'm gonna reaction dodge the second.
And then, unfortunately, as I rolled a 1, this one would break free and actually start to flap in the air. This one actually seems more so intent to watch. It seems to almost just be inspecting. It is very much so active, but much like the dragons that you'd seen overwatching the festival, this one almost seems like an overseer. Whereas this one looks more of not only a hostile dragon, it is still more to be considered a golem, but it almost looks rapid, despite the stone nature to it. As it starts to break, there's almost a dust that starts to leak from its mouth, like a drool. Rather than really starting to fly as it flaps, but then starts to descend by its own weight, it hits the lava, just like effectively spewing and splashing lava in the directions around it, and effectively just, and almost like a bull or a rhino looks like it's about to charge. It's your turn.
We can cast that haste on us now.
Yep, I cast haste.
Alright, and yeah, I'm gonna dash, action surge, dash.
Do you want to disengage?
Nope, not disengaging. We're running straight through.
Okay, so we got...
That's 70, 70, 70, 70, 70.
Do you have action surge?
Yeah, 70 with the haste, and then 70 again.
The freedom of movement means you actually don't have the distance.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going.
350 feet.
Okay.
We are zooming.
Triple dash. That was the decision. However, it was unnecessary. You made it 250.
I don't even care. We're out of there. I look at the dragon. I'm like, nope, not dealing with that.
What is the dragon? I need to know how you move through this.
Oh, I'll take any opportunity attacks. They can all try and hit me.
If you're
whatever is the straightest line without doing big jumps so that he falls off.
Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It would just be 5. It'd be 5 attacks of opportunity. Okay, let's do attacks.
Imagine he gets 3 crits here.
Attack number 1, not a crit, but a 26.
I'm gonna action shield. I'm gonna reaction shield.
What does that bring it to?
27. They have to be
His
to 27.
AC would be 29 currently.
Oh
22.
Yeah, 29 because of the haste. Yep.
That is a crit. 12.
I knew it was happening.
He's 27.
His AC is 29. They have to roll a 29 to beat him.
They have to hit me with a 29.
Only one of these can hit you without critting. But one of them did crit you. Okay, so we got 7.
You're getting Zaith level of ACs up in here.
We are zooming and we are getting as many tankiness as we can.
That is a really, really low roll for what it's worth. 12, 17.
Gurgle sees shit hit the fan and he's like, nope, we're out of here.
So in total, oh wait, no, this is one hit. It's literally just one hit. It's not even in total.
Yeah.
It's 65.
Goddamn.
4, sorry.
Half to 32?
64, halved to 32.
Is it a dex save?
No, it's just an attack roll.
No, it's just he hit me. I'm going. I'm zoomed.
That is one way to actually still get out, despite what just happened.
Oh shit!
How do you think you understand what this thing was about to do?
Gurgle
with
does
that,
not want to deal
Gurgle's
with
just
that
like,
I
shit.
think we didn't want to find out.
Gurgle's just like, nope. And just freaking takes off. You got like, you know when you're moving fast in a game and the water splits? The lava's just like, as goes around the edge of the map. You find
All
that
that's left
black.
is a smoke cloud of its trail.
You find that black essence, and in what would actually be a very fast sequence of events in total for you, you find yourself almost like a bullet
skidding
out of the dragon's mouth, just poof, as Gurgle just hits the ground. Clay kind of like falling off, not being able to quite take it from the impact.
Hold on. We also are gonna like acrobat flip out with the
Clay definitely
with the
falls off.
21 with the 21.
No. Clay's gonna roll his acrobatics.
That's true. That'd be athletics. You're holding on. It's effectively like
No, because
He's trying to land.
I'm trying to land.
Because like I'm picturing
Yes,
the
carry on.
portal's there and he's running so fast he just dives and then he realizes that he's going out of the mouth and then he just rolls.
What'd you get?
I have advantage because my athleticism, my oath. Mm-hmm. I rolled a 5 and a 6.
That sucks. That sucks.
Good times.
So I dive and he's still on my back and then I realize that I'm about to belly flop after coming out of the mouth.
He rolls a concentration
And so I
check and
flip-
he goes limp.
I flip into a roll, not remembering that he's still on my back and he just falls and
Which causes him to fail the concentration on haste and then
Do I need
causes
to
you
make
to...
Do I need to make a concentration check?
You know what? We're gonna say yes for the sake of this. It's just gonna be DC 10.
Yep, DC 10.
he just biffs it and then I'm like,
That's okay.
sorry,
That's okay.
sorry,
Apparently he's got a really high con plus.
Yeah, so 14.
Yeah.
That would have been funny.
That said,
I had to roll like a 1 to fail.
Yep.
The dragon still smiling as Gurgle just and then Clay just kind of kind of like when a meteor splits off as Clay just and hits the stone, rolls. I'm gonna say you take a point of bludgeoning damage as you just hit and roll in the stone. Gurgle.
Sorry, Clay.
Gurgle kind of flipping.
I was in a hurry. I was trying to get us out.
No bludgeoning needed.
As Gurgle coming to a stop, he's like, easy. Take a couple steps as like the haste comes to an end, and Gurgle's like, ow.
That was easy. Barely an inconvenience.
As soon as you guys actually come, as soon as you make it out of its mouth, the smile on the red dragon, the two split tongues, just immediately fades.
Sorry, buddy. I didn't want to deal with your stone guy. Also, you guys have really poor instructions. Not you. Just in general, whoever designed the event.
I, for one, think your instructions are amazing. And
No,
this
your
is a
instructions
really
were fine.
great
There was
setup,
actually that
like-
lady at the front, that the person that was telling us what to do. She did not say that we couldn't help people. She said that we weren't supposed
She
to help our
100%
teammates.
said we couldn't help people.
I thought she said we couldn't help our teammates.
As you're talking, the red dragon almost like picks its head up toward you, slightly, almost
I
cocking
kind of
it.
start
Its
stepping
maw,
away from Gurgle.
its maw actually starts to open, and like Clay, you realize what this dragon's doing in the frustration of this lost gamble. As it goes to start to take a bite at you, Gurgle, as you start to realize, you're like, wait a minute.
Hold on. That's against the rules. Hold on.
As you hold out your finger and say, "It's like that's against the rules." The elf almost you didn't realize when she got there, reaches out her hand and almost not only does she grab the top of the dragon's snout, her fingers seem to dig into its scales, and she grabs what is again this ancient dragon, and much like a kid trying to climb away from an adult, just and slams its head into the ground. The stonework under its head just and cracks. You immediately see a spatter of blood from the side of its head near its eye where it just hit the ground. And as you're like, that's against the rules, she goes, he's correct. That is against the rules. As she throws its head back, and the dragon, again, this ancient dragon, one of the largest you've ever seen, just and hits the back wall.
I got a mage hand. Do you think maybe I could learn how to do that? You know, maybe, like is that an advanced form of my invisible mage hand?
I got a question. This is the same one.
This is the
same
elf
one who
that
gave the
seems to be.
instructions. Yep.
This is the elf that was giving the instructions.
This
It seems
is the
to
same
be
one that,
running
that,
the piece.
that also
that we just said
that
gave
Kane
poor
is sent
instructions.
over.
Yes. Wait, no.
That these two took the trial for it.
No.
No,
no.
they took
We
the trial from
technically
her
took
assistant.
it for her assistant, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was from her.
With that, you guys, especially when you consider that you guys technically would have went through that fairly quickly, as soon as she throws the dragon back, she turns. She says, I apologize. He doesn't take losing very well, but as you look over and you almost like following her gaze, you look to the red dragon, who is unconscious. Its head is almost like laxed, like belly up, very undignifying position for a dragon. As you additionally start to hear almost like as just laughter from the other dragons starts to come
an
out.
invisible mage hand and then rub his belly. It's okay, buddy. It's okay.
He's unconscious.
In this,
We should take a selfie with him.
in this moment, as you're like, all right, what's next? And you turn to her, the silver dragon that you had seen before, almost like in a frantic speed, just and hits, almost like skidding to a stop as she turns towards this elf and she says, Majesty, he's here. And she's kind of confused. Why? What? How? Which contestants? And she said, the only ones, they're friends. Is again almost with the open palm, the way that she seems to try and use her front legs as hands. She almost like gestures towards you. She goes, "All right, back to your station. It's the only place we'll be able to reopen the portal. Hopefully before it's too late." As that's when you would see them go.
To help somebody?
They don't even seem to acknowledge you. They both just start to walk back towards.
I guess we'll just follow them.
Towards the area where she had been awaiting challengers.
I guess we're just
With
following
that,
them.
that's where we're going to break from you guys. We're going to go back to you two. As you enter through that stone wall, or that opening, almost secret passage, you could say. The individual inside, bare-chested, you didn't recognize it first. But especially for you, Razu, and your curiosity, As you start to look a little bit closer,
For 2 combats.
lack of a nose, slightly in an indented face. The bottom of his chin, almost a severe underbite. This is not the same as the individual you'd seen before that you accepted your challenge from, now confirmed to be a dragon. However, you get a very familiar feeling. It's like this is very much the same person, or the same. It's like they're from the same tribe. Apologies.
What can I do for you, my debonair-looking fellow?
Actually, I don't know if this matters. If you rolled a 27, technically I had 2 less armor class. I forgot exhausted reduces your armor class by 2.
Does?
We're gonna hold that thought. We're gonna do this for now.
I don't know if I got hit again.
Wait. You would have been hit with a 27. It is what it is. As you ask what you can do for him, he goes, well, I believe that's slightly backwards. You passed the test. What is it we can do for you? As he gestures to the chest in front of this small table that he stands in front of.
Well,
Noting, there's a bunch of papers scattered about the table.
do I write it down, tell you, or just think about it?
You simply lost. Wow. You desire.
Can it be an upgrade to something I already have?
As long as you are in agreement. Yes.
Sorry, I was answering his question. Could you repeat what he just said real quick?
Not paying attention.
I'm sorry.
No, that was my fault. I was distracting.
He said, what can I do for you? And he said, that's quite the opposite. You've passed. What can I do for you? Or, better said, what do you desire? And gestured to the chest below. Or in front of the table.
And you're still granting it to me?
Why does it always get so much colder when we start this part?
So, I'm pretty sure we haven't talked about it in character.
Correct.
What do you desire?
What I would want from this chest is one of 2 items. The first being a tutorial on this, I suppose what they call draconic magic, as they refer to it on this era. Alternatively, my second choice would be, I don't even know if this is possible, but a mote of the origin.
Do I know what that is?
Make an Arcana check.
15.
I'd say that Razu would think of it like a mode of the infinite.
Well, what I desire is for them to give me access to my father's tools. He changed my scythe into tools, very powerful ones. I could witness them, the things I could do with them.
Doesn't that mean you could do it yourself?
No, it's left with him.
I thought you said that while he was gone, he was not actually gone. You still have access to him.
Not when his soul gets banished to the Shadow Realm. Tiku broke his soul, Kane.
I am aware. I did see her do it. Have you tried since then?
I tried to change my weapon into alchemist tools.
Weapon doesn't seem to be able to change into tools. You can change it from weapon to weapon. That's all Razu's ever really thought about before now.
It's clearly something he knew how to do, or an upgrade that went with him. I want it back.
And what's the difference between these tools and just high-quality ones?
What's the difference between a hammer and the hammer you and Gurgle got?
Are these on par?
From my knowledge, my father was the best in the world. Why wouldn't he have the best tools?
And can I do a history check to effectively compare his tools to said hammer?
You can do a history check to try and remember what your father did with the tools. So if you're
feats that I think wouldn't be able to do with normal tools.
That would be it. You're trying to remember experiments that he's done.
Okay, good recall. Double natural 1. Sucks to suck. I don't call shit.
You have way too many to pick from. As you start to try and think of these experiments that Squawk did, when you figured out that Squawk had been living with you as long as he had, in addition to that, had control over your psyche for huge portions of your life, whether or not it's when you're sleeping or even holes that you started to pick out in your memory of days or weeks that would go by where you didn't know what happened, which initially you gave to like experimentation, alcohol, back when you had first started bounty hunting. The depth of experiments is to the point that you're confident that he still had special tools, but it's too much to grasp from.
Can I know that I don't think I've ever seen alchemy tools that could compare?
You just know that. Whatever he was using, if it was your weapon, you're not 100% sure on, but whatever the tools that Squawk was using were, not only were they mastercraft tools, in addition to that, they have additional features, much like the hammer.
I guarantee they were the best that I've ever seen.
And is it not possible that myself and Gogo could craft you of similar?
Can I recall how it was obtained?
Assuming it is, as you say, rune-weaved.
I don't know if it was.
So you're guessing that, as far as I understand, your father, a mortal, having equipment on par with Rudar's, a several millennia old ancient.
The only alchemist that was on the brink of the ability to control dragons.
That is not something that he originated. That was something he was utilizing through Tiku's blood. Her bloodline.
Well,
I am not the only rune weaver. I would not go as far as to claim that I am the origin of rune weaving. Any alchemist could discover Tiku's bloodline.
Well, I can tell you this. If you want a mote of the infinite...
That is not what I said.
But apparently, I would be comparing it to that.
Yes, but I don't know you're comparing it to that.
Well, if you want something similar...
It's not. Do you not know what the origin is? The origin is
loosely
the beginning. It is magic. As you know it, everything comes from the origin. The cube came from the origin. The gatekeeper came from the origin. Dragons came from the origin. Everything comes from the origin. As I said, I don't even know if it's possible to achieve a piece of it.
He looked at the person, by the way.
But if it is, the possibilities are endless. And if you truthfully must know, this moat I was planning as a gift.
What's the intended outcome?
Truthfully, I'm still not positive if our actions here truly have any meaning. But if they do, I believe they would have the most meaning on the individual still here.
So you intend to use it on?
I plan on giving it. Maybe not in its pure form. It would probably have to be diluted to not kill her. But my intention was to give it as a gift to Silverion.
Is that the monk dragon?
The one and the same.
What is the intended outcome?
I believe the current term would be to ask her on a date.
Wait a minute.
Nathaniel was not ready for that.
Hold up. Dragon Simpson, what? You want to go out with the princess?
We don't know that. And that's also my guess, at best.
The vegetarian.
The one and the same. And she is not a vegetarian. She's a magic eater. Hence, my want for pure magic.
What the mote of the infinite do the trick?
Sorry, say that again.
Would the mote of the infinite do the trick for you?
I do not know. I have not had this mote of infinite to test, to determine.
Now we're getting to a real gray area with the mode of the infinite.
Well,
relationship
I'll tell you
manipulation.
I get this upgrade, and I'll give you mine.
You possess a mote of the infinite.
Indeed.
May I see it?
I look at the auspicious people around.
The single individual?
One guy, bare-chested.
He's just hanging out? Mm-hmm. Does he seem weirded out by this conversation at all?
No. Much as I am sitting here in listening and in contemplation, he is also. He is actually looking back and forth like he's paying attention. Doesn't seem perturbed by it, though.
Well, he seems chill.
I would just hold it to you.
Can I do an Arcana check on this? Basically to determine, like, how magical, I guess?
You can make a rune weaving check.
Fuck.
No, I would still say this is Arcana. I apologize. I take it back. Understanding the magic of something is still going to be Arcana. Rune weaving is the application.
Ooh, not bad. 33.
You would probably more so call this a mode of impossibility. As you start to inspect it, there is an impossible amount of magic in this cube. Almost to like an unfathomable point. Something of this size, of this material, even though you're not 100% sure what the material is, something like this shouldn't exist.
This does accomplish what I'm looking for, but I think it accomplishes it too well. I could not dilute this. Siphon it off.
Seems like your girlfriend will be impressed.
That's not... Unless I severely am underestimating her capabilities. Too much of any one thing can kill. And I believe this is such an instance.
Well, you could let her decide that.
Correct. Or we could utilize this for myself and Gurgle to gain the experience to craft you your tools.
The problem that we found with this is it only works for a very short period of time. And from my understanding, that's not how rune weaving works.
That is actually exactly how rune weaving works.
But my other problem is with these tools, I might be able to find a way to cure Tiku.
You would still need a blood, unless you're subverting that.
There's loopholes in most alchemy.
Is there? I thought alchemy was like a straightforward
A very
science.
strict science.
That's chemistry.
As
You
in
use
this
other
world,
elements,
Razu
yeah.
would think back to watching not even what he considers the best, but Terrell pouring out a liquid, and you said he was literally separating two separate liquids from it.
Terrell was a master alchemist. You don't know all of his, despite the fact that Squawk would be...
Based off of seeing things like that, would I think it's possible that there would be another solution given enough tools and understanding?
Do you?
Yes.
Then yes.
I believe it would put me closer to solving Tiku's illness.
Can I insight him?
Go for it.
Is his goal actually to help Tiku, or is he just saying that for me to agree with him? 21.
I think that's more of a question for you, Nate, not him, not
That
Hiram.
is the current goal.
There's more goals. It's one of them.
Okay. As long as it's
I would go as far as to
actual
say
legitimate
it's the
goal.
prevalent goal.
Okay.
It's very clear that there's an undertone to it, but it's like if you're working with someone who you don't typically get along with, and it's like, why would you work with me? And it's like, because we're both working towards the same thing. It's like, obviously there's a benefit, but there's something else that they're getting. That's the feeling you get.
How about a proposition? We offer this moat to him as an exchange for 2 rewards.
Thoughts and feelings.
I believe your original idea would have worked better. Your moat means nothing to me, despite the fascinating qualities it possesses. However, to one magic-obsessed wormling, it may garner interest.
Well, that's your third-party opinion.
Also, I don't determine what's in the chest. You do.
Seems like it's between us anyway.
Can I Arcana check this chest, just out of curiosity? Or is it like just beyond me?
You can attempt to.
We'll attempt it. I'm curious. Shit. 22.
It doesn't even look like, you don't even get any essence of magic from it. It looks like a chest.
Oh, shit.
You're more inclined to think this is a mimic than an actual magical chest.
I don't think he'd lie, though, so I'm inclined to believe him. Unless this was just all a con, that'd be hilarious.
If you truly believe your course of action to be the correct one, I will accept your deal.
All right. Good luck on your proposal.
As Razu would hand him it and open the chest. I'm looking for specifically the ability to turn my weapon into buff versions of tools that I'm proficient with. Effectively, this would allow me to do medicine. I'm pretty sure it's a medicine kit and alchemy tools, because I'm pretty sure it would be kind of a combined version of that.
You're looking for something that is going to modify your weapon?
Effectively. But the concept is,
I got you.
I wasn't just
I got you.
doing
You're good.
alchemy tools because I think medicine kit is going to play into this extraction of blood and messing with biology type shit.
As Razu kind of leans over a little bit, you open up the chest. You are most disappointed to find it empty. As this dragon-like individual kind of like leans forward and says, "Don't worry, it'll come to you." As he casts the same spell that the dragon had casted previously and teleports you back to that cave hangar. As you guys would arrive later than everyone and would hear a bit of a commotion. At this point, many of the dragons have cleared out. For the two of you, the magistrate, as she was just referred to, ordered many of the dragons to cancel their conquest. She simply said he has arrived. None of the dragons questioned her, and some of them flew from the cave, almost in a panic, like running. Some of them almost like chin up, found their way back deeper into Lone Peak, and a few of which remain. Specifically, the purple dragon, the red dragon who is still unconscious, laying haphazardly on the floor, and then one of the green dragons has stayed as well. So there's the 4 dragons that you can see that have stayed. As you guys kind of confused arrive back, look around the the cave, and hold that thought, because that's where we're going to go to break.
Please.
So yes, we will figure out who that was, as you said, and what is the next steps of these conquests here in a bit. See you in a second, Jasmine. And we're back. Hello again, friends. Okay, so you two being the last to technically would arrive would be, again, for Kane and Razu, you would be seeing a mostly empty chamber as opposed to, or I guess it would still be, yes, apologies. Tiku got inspiration. I will get to the point where I remember this. I apologize. Courtesy of Jasmine, we love you. Thank you. Tiku did get inspiration. Woo! For each of you, so you two would actually be the first ones to come back. So as you guys run to the back of this cave, despite the fact that the silver dragon, which you guys know her name, I don't know why I keep calling her just the silver dragon, Silfarion.
Technically, those two don't.
True. With that said, Silfarion and the magistrate, as she was just referred to by Silfarion, as they make her way towards the back, ignoring the questions that you had asked Gurgle, but pick a color.
Back in normal light.
As they make their way to the again towards the back of the cave, there's a larger cave entrance, and there's a couple other small ones as well that exit from it. This is where you would actually start to see those dragons really start to exit the cave. Some again flying out in more of like a frantic fashion. The magistrate walking to the edge of almost the area that was sectioned off for Selfarion, kneels down and just... Do either of you speak Elvish? This would be specifically for you two.
Do I speak Elvish?
I do.
Okay. You would start to hear her casting the spell that she's casting from the verbal component of it, especially because you also have some familiarity with magic as well. She's casting Summon Greater Demon. As you start to recognize...
she's getting a demon.
As you start to recognize the words from the spell that she is casting.
I don't think I've ever seen somebody summon a demon.
Well, you're about to know. Keep watching.
As she finishes the spell, which would be a fairly quick instance, a large circle with it'd be a 5-pointed star, but upside down, with the tip of the 5-pointed star pointed towards her. I think that's still just an upside down pentagram.
It's just a pentagram.
Is that just a pentagram?
It doesn't matter the orientation.
Okay.
Is the verbal component them just going? Ba, 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 ba,
No.
ba.
Worth something that definitely would draw your attention as well. This is a massive circle. This is about 20 feet in width.
So she's upcasting it.
This does appear to be a very. This appears to be a very high level spell that she is casting. As soon as she finishes it, the stone almost seems to crumble away at the center of that star, almost falling out from the star. And rather than your typical summoning magic, it instead is like she's looking into a pit. As she would start to speak out in another language. Do either of you speak Infernal? As you guys would not understand what instead almost sounds similar to how you view Primordial, where it's almost an interpretation of the sounds of elements, of water, of fire. This is instead almost like a perversion of in this case, it would almost sound like a perversion of Common. It almost sounds like she's speaking Common backwards as she starts to call down into this pit.
It's black speech.
All right, Razu. What does this sound like?
Technically, only these two can hear her.
He's doing the whole.
What does demon speech sound like? I mean, that's better than Splish.
Sure. You tried hard. Okay. As she calls out, the response you actually hear in Common of, has my task been succeeded yet? She just shakes her head no. Payment then. She looks over towards Selfarion, and Selfarion, seeming kind of worried, she gives her a light nod as Selfarion just leans down and she opens her mouth. It's almost like you get the impression of almost like she's regurgitating it, as a large battle axe seems to, almost from her gullet, just falls and clinks to the floor. Runes all down the hilt, 3 of which on the top of it seem to be glowing, but the last 2 out of the 5 seem almost dormant. She reaches down, speaking with the magistrate, she reaches down and picks it up. Almost bringing it close to her brow, she starts to whisper. This is again an Infernal. She would not quite understand what she was saying, as the 4th rune on the edge of this axe lights. As soon as she finishes, she kind of like takes it back, seems a little bit worried, hands it back to Selfarion, who at this point would bend over and effectively consume it, biting it and swallowing it. As you would hear from the pit, they will be returned. The ground just seems to fill back in, showing no signs of damage. And then almost rising from the stone, you would see Tiku and Zephyr. The magistrate walks over to Zephyr, and Selfarion walks over, it would still be she walks on her hands, walks over to Tiku, and they both start to cast healing magic.
I walk over and I slap Zephyr's cheeks together. Wake up!
He's completely unresponsive. In fact, he's not only unresponsive, he's cold. Doesn't seem to have a pulse.
I cast Revivify.
As you go to cast Revivify, both Magistrate and Silfarion are actually already both in the process of it.
Oh. Well,
I died?
As both of you, at this point, this is again where you wake up.
Guys, I don't think you passed your trial.
That trial was bullshit.
I mean, I don't mean to brag, but we got our Brock with a rune on it.
I mean, the first part was fine. The second
that
part
was a lump of coal.
Complete bullshit. There was some crazy ass creature on the other side, and apparently the whole place wanted to eat us.
Oh, sorry. You need to roll a con save.
It was ripping out our souls.
I slapped you in the face. I forgot I have poison skin.
He was dead when you slapped him. He actually would not need
Oh, yeah,
to.
yeah, it's true. I was an object, not a creature. Your poison only affects creatures.
I would say your cheeks slightly burn. Yeah. But Silfarion, at this point, actually falls to her front legs. Actually, for the first time since you guys have seen her, takes more so the stance of a normal dragon. And she actually brings her head completely to the floor. Still larger than you guys, despite her size.
Yeah, you better be apologizing for that bullshit.
She goes, I'm sorry.
Who even made this test?
Well, I made the first part. Me and some of my
that was
allies.
fine.
You were found. I don't know what you're doing, but you've angered the hunter.
Oh, Zephyr, you reffed up again, didn't you?
I didn't mess with anything.
I only.
That's what you said last time with the lightning god.
No, I was definitely fucking with him. I openly expressed my distaste.
Displeasure?
Displeasure.
Distaste?
Distaste. It just sounds weird for some reason. I expressed hatred for that god.
Disdain?
Disdain, that's better. That's the word I'm looking for.
Whatever the case is, now that he has appeared, we have very clear orders whenever the hunter makes an appearance.
What is the hunter exactly? Is this the time thing?
Father simply has always referred to him as the hunter.
Oh, this makes sense, actually.
The Chrono Hunter?
I'm pretty sure Time Dragon, Chrono Hunter, sounds like they'd be at odds. You've had a run-in with the Chrono Hunter before, right?
What?
Yeah.
I believe.
What's the Chrono Hunter?
I believe it was something.
Where have I
been in the
Is it
game.
kind of like the Googler?
It was back in the games. They mentioned something about a creature they were being pursued by.
He doesn't like you
Oh,
messing
so
with
like
time.
the Googler.
Ish.
Ish, but a different monster. But always pursuing.
Through time, though.
He was very simply a part of the game that if he got you, you lose.
Hold on, I'm remembering.
So is the game just like a big game of tag?
He didn't look like the guy that I saw.
We call it the Death Games, but you know,
Using stop interrupting each other.
it was technically called a game of Ascension.
I mean, it was kind of like
At this
a game
point,
of
yes,
time.
I would say you guys
Except
walked up.
if you caught the
But with
other and killed them. then
higher
you won.
stakes.
Yeah. There was no unless you had Revivify, you couldn't unfreeze your teammates.
Yeah.
It was a death game. Lots of death.
Hold on. Time out. My alternate personality that got frozen and shattered is remembering that this was called the Gatekeeper, not the Chrono Hunter.
No, he was definitely called the Chrono Hunter.
He was always called the Chrono Hunter, for sure.
But he didn't look like that human that
I think we
saw.
might have called him the Watcher.
The Watchers, another word.
Watcher is
You
another
didn't
name
call
for
him the Watcher.
No, that's
the
what.
eldest
no,
brother
he's right.
called
He's right.
him the Watcher.
That's right. That is right. That was he called. Yeah.
He was. I
He
think
was
we
the
read a
Watcher,
book where
and
he
the
was.
Gatekeeper was the ogre that we killed.
Cyclops.
Yeah, the Cyclops that we killed.
The Chrono Hunter was something I think
Like
we were
the-
referred to in a scroll that we read in some of the timey-wimey bullshit that happened.
No, so
But what we were referring to him at first was the Watcher.
This is the same creature, regardless.
it is the same creature, and just a quick thing, and again, just because
He did
this
not
was
look like
previous to stream, and technically, I don't think you were there. When you guys went into the temple that Ralamon had sent you into to collect the artifact, and you ended up in that time junction, that anchor point, and you interacted with that family, that is where you found it. It wasn't from a book. It was the eldest brother talked about this creature, and then when you started going forward, the girl had written it on the wall in her blood.
Also,
that is where you figured out about the Chrono Hunter initially, and then you heard it. We're like, oh, we gotta go. Ran from it to go fight the Watcher, which was the Cyclops, and killed the Cyclops to access the vault. You guys never even saw the Chrono Hunter. You heard him and ran.
No. I did. Anras did see it. He saw it through a mirror.
You saw a shadow of the creature through a mirror.
No, he saw the eye of it. He saw a big ass eye of it through the mirror. He saw it around
I think
a
you
corner.
did. You saw the shadow, and then you waited until the head turned, and you just saw a large eye, and you were like, "Nope," and then you left.
He was using a mirror. I remember because I was thinking in my head at the time. I was thinking he was a basilisk from freaking.
Whatever the case is.
Anyway, I was using a mirror.
That character's dead.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter for Gurgle. The point here
is I'm remembering a big ass.
For those that were in the games, which is literally just you two, all you remember is that the eldest brother in that anchor point told you it. Yes. I'm not gonna lie, I forgot his name.
That's why I looked good for you.
Kaiser told you when he realized that you guys were messing with time and that you were locked at an anchor point, warned you of the Chrono Hunter, and if the Chrono Hunter caught you, he would freeze you in time forever. And that is what it would do. And except for technically Onros, who saw its eye, none of you saw the Chrono Hunter. The Watcher was the Cyclops that stood watch over the vault.
Yeah, but he told us he was huge and had a big eye.
And you guys thought it was the Cyclops.
Technically, the Cyclops was referred to as the Guardian, but yeah.
No, Onras told everybody that it was a big eye, though, because that's all he saw.
Whatever the case is, I can confirm for both
it
a
was
big eye.
It was a case of mistaken identity.
For the sake of for the stream, because it was before stream, and just for confirmation, because it was a long time ago, and some people actually weren't there. The Chrono Hunter, you two never saw, and you two would be the only ones who would have even been in proximity to it.
But also,
however,
we do know, we as in YouTube, but we collectively as in everybody that was there, physically, we did know that he doesn't like things traveling through time. And that's why he freezes you in time.
Mm-hmm.
So he does. If you're messing with time, he'll freeze you in the time that you're in, and then you can never escape that time.
He is attracted to time jump.
I'm assuming, based off the descriptions I got from the games over the years, Zephyr figured out is the Chrono Hunter, based off the.
Jasmine is also right. Serval also actually told you guys the name the Chrono Hunter, and he told you that
I knew
he
somehow
knew of it.
I knew.
So Serval literally told you guys that one of the anchor beings is the Chrono Hunter, but he also didn't know who it was. He just knew of it. You guys were able to piece it together a little bit, but even with that, just because Tiku said that's not what the Chrono Hunter looked like, you never saw the Chrono Hunter.
But he was a big monster.
But you wouldn't. What I'm saying is, she wouldn't put it together. Well, she never saw. He wouldn't be able to put it together because his description of it would have been a big eye.
We literally got confirmation.
You guys don't. You guys. Okay, so
well, I'm saying if he.
It doesn't matter what he was able to put
regardless,
together.
Zephyr's got.
She just referred to the creature you just saw.
He figured it out.
Yeah, and she just referred to that creature as the hunter. With that, we're going back into into the ongoing.
Playing D&D. By the way, this thing reminds me of the Weeping Angels.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Authentic D.
I've actually never seen Doctor Who. I know they're from Doctor Who, but
I've
never seen any of
the
it.
freakiest thing in Doctor Who for sure.
SCP-173.
Maybe later. Okay. No, I have no idea what you're talking about. Selfarion at this point says, well, the one good news, you seemed, from our interaction earlier, to be on Father's side. And now you get to meet him.
Oh, good. Something else that can kill me.
So I was right.
For what it's worth, this will count as your third conquest, your second of today.
Hold up.
Your conquest has been severely altered from the other competitors, and as a group you have all passed, as you did have, I would say, 3 successes. Your final trial was usurped, and you passed 5 out of the 6, and you likely would have passed the 6th as well.
Oh, I had a lot in the tank still.
Did you just say father?
Yes.
That
And
makes one
he
of
does
us.
not typically like to be left waiting.
Wait, is this the father of the dragon that came?
What's the name? Yes.
You're gonna meet his parents.
I feel like Kane's just like dreamy-eyed looking.
I mean, I would probably just look at Kane.
Seems you were right.
do believe I am at least relatively intelligent.
Well, if you all would come with me.
Of course.
If I could be permitted to ask.
Tiku feels a little funny.
Funny how?
Do we still have the hammers, or they disappeared?
Do it, King. Come on.
Okay.
Is
You missed all the
the
shots you
dragon
don't
still
take.
there?
Yes, he is.
I wanted a hammer blade darkness.
We may not have time right now, but when I see you again, I do have some questions.
Even those hammers of blade darkness would be dope.
Well, I suppose we'll have to leave it for when you see me again. Considering you lived through this. Good luck. Now, would
If
you
I could
ask,
be permitted
Wait.
He's tried to talk like 3 times. Wait.
If I could be permitted to ask, I would like to have a conversation with you at a later time.
I would be more than happy as long as you get Father's approval. For if you don't,
We'll all be dead.
yes, unfortunately. But he is kind and just.
What?
Well, hold on. Time out. I didn't sign up for 2 trials in one day. I'm tired.
We already did.
You deaf?
Did. Just so
We
you know.
literally were doing a trial in the morning and a trial at night. That was already confirmed.
It's just that
We're
she
just now
told
doing
you
it
that got
faster.
your second trial, or your third conquest,
Gorgo,
technically,
come
second
on,
one today.
you'll be fine. I died a moment ago, and I'm going.
You died a moment ago?
Empty
Yes,
out my
they
lay
cast
on
Or
me.
that.
Purify on me.
I slapped him,
To heal myself for
and
70
he did not wake up.
Huh.
So, Theron, can I take a sword to that?
Theron.
My bad. Kane, can I get a sword to that potion? I'm not feeling too good.
What happened to you guys, anyways?
Maybe it's not a
We
fight.
froze to death for like the entire time.
He froze to death for the entire time.
Looking a little blue.
I would say purple.
Go ahead, Zephyr.
Shoot, I just lost my train of thought. What was it? It was important. Oh yeah, Deku, can you look at my soul? Because I'm pretty sure that thing was messing with it.
You get a single superior healing. That's all I'm giving you.
Survival check.
You can looks down.
Which is 8d4 plus 8.
10 plus 20.
That's supreme, not superior.
21.
21. There's definitely something off about Zephyr. In fact, as you kind of start to think about it, and kind of interested, kind of looks down at yourself as well. Something off about you as well. You don't know what it is. It's almost like there's 2 souls in each of you.
Just those 2?
Just those 2.
Okay.
Deku, what is it?
You got the hitchhiker.
Like a parasite?
We already knew that, Ticker.
Wait, what?
He's always had 2 people. He's had 2 people in him for a while now.
That's not something that she'd be able to see. I don't think.
Is it
Did
not?
I see that on him previously?
No.
No, it's different.
Could you clarify?
It's like there are 2.
Like 2 of me, or like a different one?
A
for me?
different Zephyr? A different soul entirely? A clone?
Does his alternate
invader?
self have teeth?
Does it have is it like a soul like this? Or like soul like this?
Like, are they sharing the body, or is one attacking the other?
Is one attached to the other? Like
What was your survival check?
a growth?
21.
21?
It seems to be localized. Right. Base of the neck for both of you. Base of the neck on the front for what it's worth as well. It's not like it spreads through. It's almost, you said, like a growth. It's very much so like there's something or some kind of essence
Infesting it?
that seems to have attached itself. Funnily enough,
I need to
easiest example, Incredibles, when he runs past and he attaches the bomb to his coat.
Oh.
That kind of attachment to the throat, and it's more of like a soul, like something. Hitchhiker would be a great example based on. This is a good one.
I need to cook it.
No, you can't cook my soul.
Not yours. You're a hitchhiker.
Can you remove
How?
it?
Okay. How? Is it gonna hurt me?
I don't know.
She just pokes her neck.
At this point, as you're thinking about that, you hear like a as you guys kind of taking your gaze away, as you would see 6 separate young dragons land, all of which are white. And 6 young white dragons all land.
Are these your boys?
They walk towards you.
I think those are rides.
Yes. Father calls.
I suppose we can deal with this later.
I do a backflip on one.
I'm Riddle!
Alright, go ahead and climb up on one.
So, as I'm getting on. So, do all white dragons have control over time?
Are you actually asking that to one of them, or are you asking that to them?
I'm just kind of like announcing it.
Just asking it generally.
Selfarion does respond. He goes, no. Father's ability is entirely unique to him.
You don't share any of those traits?
No, not exactly. I am unique, as I'm sure you have been able to tell so far.
Does he also stand up like you do?
No. It would be very difficult for him now.
I will ponder that for a bit.
Okay.
Because he grew too big, or because he's old?
You'll see. Also looking towards you, says, depending on how long your questioning is,
My man's Professor X.
I could give you a ride. I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Sure.
She looks towards one of the other white dragons, who just almost kind of shrugs. These dragons seem completely... they don't seem to care about you at all. It's just like, very much so. You almost get the sense, again, relating humans to kind of pets for dragons. This is like your friend asks you to go pick up their dog, is the kind of feeling you get from these dragons. As she offers to give you a ride, white dragon just quite literally almost seems to kick up his shoulders and shrug a little bit.
Hey.
Looks towards the matriarch. She smiles.
Magistrate?
Yes, sorry.
It's not the same thing. None of them have offered me a treat.
True.
Nor have they scratched you.
The magistrate does take your ride, I guess. She takes your ride, grabs and kind of pulls herself up. She turns to her assistant. She says, there's still a few contestants that have yet to arrive back, as she gestures towards the young purple dragon. The purple dragon seems to have been very focused on you guys the whole time, and just gets a broad smile, again showing a toothy maw behind it. She goes, try to clean it up. He simply nods, and at that point just starts to walk away.
Can I feel my connection to Malrith at all, or is it still empty?
It is still empty. Okay, now with that, assuming, so these dragons are effectively offering to be mounts for all of you. Yep. Assuming that you guys all choose to accept, you mount up on these dragons, you catch a ride on Selfarion, fly out of the cave, and you start to fly for the peak. What did you want to ask Selfarion?
Sorry.
Go out with me.
I feel, because he's got just a huge crush on her. He's just like all giddy, mounting.
This is up to him. This is his character.
Wazoo just looks at him as he's mounting his dragon.
Oh my god.
You're doing great.
You're doing great.
Silverion, when I first... I admit I do not know how to ask this, but while my time here is short, I was wondering if you would give me the I was wondering if you would want to be courted by me.
You get... So as you're flying, for what it's worth, by the way, for each of you flying your dragons, There is no kind of protection. What you were expecting the first time with the wind hitting you, dirt, rocks from Lone Peak, it is not a pleasant ride. No saddle. You guys are like, you're holding on. Whereas for you,
glad I had that +5 on athletics
much
right
more
now.
peaceful. Silfarion, you actually like, she has a very serious expression as you guys start to fly. As you ask, she kind of, I have to say that was unexpected.
I do have a gift for you as well, if you would be so inclined as to take it. I know your aptitude for magical items, and I believe I have something on par with your tastes.
And I would pull out the Mode of Infinite and show her.
As you pull them out of Infinite, you're currently effectively having her as your mount. You pull it out, similar fashion to the basin, where it's like the magic had been pulled from your hand almost prematurely. As soon as you pull
it just gets
out,
yoinked? Okay.
It seems to almost, well, not exactly yoinked. It almost seems to get pulled in this pocket, this stream of air that she seems to be able to control. And for you, being a little bit more familiar with dragonkind, she quite literally is making herself a zero airspace. It's like she's flying through a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
Also, make sure that she would be able to fly a lot quicker. She does not seem to be wanting to go that fast. But it seems in this moment as well that she seems to have control over it. As it flies down towards her head, and she goes, I would be happy to consider it, but we would need Father's blessing.
Of course.
This might be more exciting than I thought. As Sofarian actually starts to pick up higher than each of you, going a little bit faster towards the summit.
As she blushes, she has a slight tinge of red.
Kane's scales might be considered red currently.
He's changed color from yellow.
As I would look at Gurgle, it either went really good or really bad.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll bet you this dragon that I'm riding on can't knock me off.
And as a bug flies past her.
As you guys would also be like yelling at each other.
Eats bugs. No, I'd be like,
as you need to make an athletics check immediately.
Oh, I'll take that bet.
As effectively, no sooner do you finish the words as the dragon you're on just and starts spiraling. Not a spiral. It just like
I would
going
also
up into the air.
I would also say
I bet I could last longer than you.
I'm gonna laugh so hard because someone gets a nat 1 and just
well, I didn't get a nat 1.
You're gonna have to do it too. Is the two dragons? So what I'm gonna say is like you guys say this. The two dragons look at each other, and then both of them just start to.
I'm gonna use Kenku Recall because I wanna roll a 1.
Turtle.
Oh baby, that is a 35 for me.
35. As the two dragons effectively do start to corkscrew, as you see Selfarion just starts to gain height, the two dragons that Gurgle and Razu are on just start to spiral. So the dragons you guys are all on almost start to like look at each other and share glances.
Oh no.
I just start like screaming like I'm on a roller coaster.
The dragon, you don't see your dragon, but as you kind of like you see Tiku's dragon, it looks at the other one, kind of smiles. And then the magistrate, you just hear her call out quite loudly, "Don't you dare!"
Like I was gonna threaten mine. Like you, I freaking cast a message. I'm like, you fucking do it, I zap you.
In that, as soon as she says that as well, both dragons that are corkscrewing with those two on just level out and stop and start to fly. And they kind of like look at each other, very much like two kids that just got yelled at by a parent. They're like, "Why'd you fucking do that?" As they all kind of snarl at each other as you guys continue to fly towards the peak. Listen, I talk with my hands, and it's right here, so I hit it sometimes. It is what it is.
Just spend like $1,500. Get the.
I'm working on it.
Some lapels.
Okay. As you guys continue to fly towards the summit, something you notice, there were thousands of dragons, and while it'd be like tens of thousands of dragons. At this point, you can only see thousands of dragons. Kind of confused, you start to look about, and the plains that you had come across, you can see dragons out in the distance that seem to be flying away from Lone Peak. as it seems that a great portion of the dragons are almost, you almost get the impression of like an evacuating, like they're running. The humans that are down in the canyon that you can even see from here seem none the wiser. Celebrations continue. You can faintly hear music quickly being drowned out as you continue to ascend, climbing what is around the 10,000 foot summit of Lone Peak, as this is a very, very large mountain.
By the way, Tiku, how's your exposure therapy going?
She's like she can fly, and she's just not. She doesn't remember that she can fly, and she's just like.
My wings are like wrapped. Like.
But she's trying not to squeeze too hard because that would hurt the dragon. You're like,
what do I do?
I can't give him food.
How panicked is TQ? I'm gonna let you decide.
She's not even like saying anything. She's just frozen.
She's just trying to pretend.
The Chrono's like got her.
She just like locked her hands and then just like petrified. It's like Keith,
it's like petrified.
The flight
like
of
not
freeze.
moving at all.
She gripped and then froze.
And her wings are like it almost looks like she's part of the dragon because she's just like flat, totally flat, and melded to the dragon.
It would still take a few minutes, even mounted on dragons, to actually fly to the summit of Lone Peak, which again is almost jutted out at an angle, which again tells to the sheer size of this. The peak is still about 10,000 feet from the ground at the end of it, even though it's at an angle. After the few minutes, starting to see the different features of Lone Peak. There's many different caves. This Lone Peak, the more you fly around it, almost seems to remind you more of like an ant colony. There are many different tunnels, and the distances you see them at, sometimes you're like, oh, it's like this looks like a small hole for a human, and then some of them are evidently and obviously large enough for massive dragons to make their homes in. As again, it's a very tunneled mountain. With that being the case, as you guys actually reach the summit or the peak of Lone Peak, the edge of it has almost been hollowed out. There is effectively a crater. It goes down about 50 feet of stone, and it is clear that it has been carved out. The stone has actually been dug out to almost make like this pit that is about 1,000 feet wide, and again about 50 feet deep. And there are dragons that just line the edge of this entire thing. And so you're talking like hundreds of separate dragons, the grand majority of which appear to be wearing armor. The first dragons that you guys have actually seen, they almost look like mounts, like a war horse, with how much armor they have, how much armor they're adorned in. There we go. In addition to that, especially you, Razu, you almost like your mouth starts to water as you realize every single set of armor these dragons have seems to be made of titanium. In addition to that, you can see that there are almost like dragons keeping their hoards. There's almost like piles of equipment, gold, sometimes people that appear to be servants. It's like each of these dragons almost, they seem very independent, almost. They almost appear like nobles, would be the best way I have to describe it. They all have their almost like servants and entourage that's with them. Some of the dragons are seemingly looking down, talking to them. Some of them even appear to have smaller dragons, whether it's families, like a parent with their younger dragons, like you see with one of the blue dragons, or some of which where it seems like the dragons seem to be serving them, whether it be more of like an apprenticeship or an ownership. Hard to tell. In addition to the hundreds of dragons that surround what is this massive, it effectively would be a pseudo canyon, I guess, and it'd be a hole. In the center of chasm would be a better way to describe it. In the center, there is 12 dragons. They're all standing in a circle, similar to how Silfarion stands. They're all standing on their hind legs and appear to be wielding weapons. The weapons the dragons seemingly have almost like gauntlets over their front legs, and the gauntlets have their own appendages resembling humans' hands, giving them, you'd imagine, a little bit more control or flexibility, or maybe an aesthetic choice. But some of the dragons appear to be wielding glaives, spears. All of them appear to be wielding some kind of a longer instrument of war, whether it be like a pike, a glaive, a spear. And even one that you see that appears to have what is a larger hammer. The handle is exceptionally long. Again, Razu, even from this distance, as you look at the gleam of the purple of the purple stone from their weapons are also all titanium.
This is the dragons or the people?
The dragons that have this. These are the 12 dragons that circle. All of them have their back.
Honor guard.
Yes, they would effectively be the honor guard. All of them have their back to what is a large, carved out of the stone, a large, again, pocket watch. But it's like the cap, the lid to the pocket watch has been ripped off. And you can see a large white dragon whose back legs are severed just a little bit down. So it's almost like little, he's got almost like small nubs to where he's standing on his front legs, but his rear legs have been cut to where he's down, where, weird to compare a dragon to a dog, but much like a dog that doesn't have hind legs. He's laying to where his left hand is towards the center of that pocket watch, just like the symbol you'd seen before, but a real-like interpretation of it. Except for this pocket watch does not have another hand. The only one is his front left his front left leg that is currently being stretched out across it. His head is still picked up. High, as he does have a much longer neck. But another thing you notice, his tail has been severed. This is not a cut. It is very clear from the gash and the jagged nature to it. His tail has been bit and ripped off, likely by another dragon from the look of it. As you continue to get closer and closer, you thought the red ancient dragon that you saw before was massive, and he was. The largest dragon you'd seen, even bigger than the black dragon from before. But the degree of size of this effectively war-wounded dragon hits you more and more as you get closer to what is... He'd be about 100 to 120 feet long, just from his head to behind him. His wings, even though folded, stretch behind him on the ground, easily given to what would be a wingspan of like probably 100 to 200 feet long. Hard to tell exactly. And then the torso itself is... It's like looking at a massive, massive structure. Like, you're talking like he would... You know how when Godzilla lies down in the Colosseum in the movies? That's the kind of size you're looking at, simply with his hind legs severed. As Selpharion lands, and each of the young white dragons land a good 200 paces from the honor guard, as you had said, the dragons look towards you. Each of the honor guard are also white. There is not another color. Despite the hundreds around that is of all colors, varieties, the 12 honor guard are all white dragons. As you guys land, the honor guard, kind of like looking towards you, looks back, and they split. You immediately hear in Draconic, despite the distance, as there is a decent amount, there is enough almost like conversation, the roaring, some anger, some confused, these dragons having these conversations, that there's a very clear discord that is surrounding this area. As they split off, Magistrate kind of turns towards your group and says, "Well, on foot. The young ones aren't allowed close." She jumps down, and she just starts to walk towards this massive white dragon.
I whisper.
The dragon's name was Selpharion, right?
Selpharion is
silver one, yes.
Yeah. Like, she's still here with us,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
She
dropped me off.
She's the only dragon that goes with you and starts to approach.
I just cast message like, so Selpharion, those others that were.
Who are you casting message at?
Selpharion.
Selpharion.
Okay, just making sure.
So Seferion, those other dragons that were standing up, relatives?
You could say that. Adopted.
Oh, so this is what you do with the hell standing up thing isn't just a genetic thing.
No, it's actually quite difficult. I sometimes, when highly stressed, like you saw in the cave, find myself to my natural posture. But that is not proper.
What's your feelings on humans?
I believe I said before, they're wonderful creatures. Unique.
Like, are you trying to emulate them?
No. I'm trying to bring them up as equals. At this point, you guys you pass these white dragon honor guard that again are standing on their hind legs. The gauntlets look even more intricate than you would have seen at a distance, to the point that for you, Gurgle, the blacksmithing that you've done, knowing how to make gauntlets, the intricate nature of it, fitting to a hand to make sure it's neither too tight nor too loose. These, not only are they masterfully crafted, easily you can tell at a glance, but in addition to that, each pair is unique as you walk past them. There is not a single pair of gauntlets that is the same as the other. Some have limited fingers. Some instead of having like similar sized fingers, you'll have like one finger that would be the size of 3, and then 2 that are of a more so normal size. Some of them have gauntlets that are more so like a human hand. Some have more fingers. In addition to that, looking at the armor, the weapons, again, uniquely made. In fact, you would almost guarantee uniquely made to specifications or tailoring of each of these dragons that stand in the honor guard of this Dragon King.
I feel like Tiku hasn't gotten off her dragon yet, and the dragon's just like wrestling her off, like, get off.
This is up to you, Tiku.
Frozen up. She just thinks it's turbulence.
As you guys start to walk forward, the magistrate notices this, especially as you kind of like called it back to Tiku. She goes,
Tiku.
Kobolds. And she goes back. Immediately upon walking towards the dragon not only goes low to the floor, it seems to lean, almost like dumping you off as she reaches out and grabs you and pulls you off
to that thing. So, do you guys have kobolds here?
Of course.
Didn't we see them getting cooked as part of some of those activities?
There's a lot of things being cooked.
If you look around long enough, you would have seen dragons as well. Anyone who breaks the law is subject to punishment.
I whisper to the dragon I just got off of before we walk away. I'll play again when you're off 30.
Make a persuasion.
It's like, it looks at you, thinks for a moment. Kind of gauging what that...
26.
What you mean by that?
26. There's like a hint of a smile from the dragon, and it almost like he noticed that he's smiling, instantly curbs it and turns and starts to walk away. Almost like triggered by that, like a response to it. The other dragons, almost like they feel like they missed a cue, or like, oh. all the dragons start to exit and walk away. Apart from Sylpharion, who again is actually walking with you.
How about that, Gurgle? 2 dragon rides on 1 vacation. That's a record.
I know. I've never ridden a dragon in my life, and I got ride 2 already.
And got swallowed by 1.
Now
I got eaten by 1. That was a new experience.
Now we just gotta make it 3.
No, I don't want to get eaten again.
Tiku had something to say that I want to let her do before you guys actually get close. Tiku does not remember what she was going to say.
Just
Like waddle up behind Razu.
and just be like trying to make herself smaller, like sucking her wings, but it doesn't really work. But she feels smaller.
Imagine she just hops on my back, puts her wings around. She's just like a backpack.
No.
She's pretty big now.
Tiku's not that much smaller than you.
Tiku misses being small.
By the way, Kane, I noticed you guys were talking.
Dragon.
What were you guys talking about?
Nothing. What?
Nothing. Why are you blushing?
Razu would just like look at you.
Are you feeling okay?
At this point,
Literally anything else. Just pay attention to it.
at this point, the magistrate turns her back to the Dragon King. And says, well, first of which, I must wish you the best of luck, and just know, here, he has the authority to make any choice, and as do you. Just keep in mind the results of your actions. Now, I don't know why he summoned you exactly, but I know a few details.
He can't possibly want to eat us, right? Like, I wouldn't even make a jelly bean to him.
We should go ask him.
I mean, you'd be a spicy jelly bean.
No, I don't even think I would be the size of a jelly bean to him.
That is the biggest dragon ever.
She turns.
You'd be spicy. I'd probably be a little hard. Razu would be tough.
What's a jelly bean?
As she walks towards the Dragon King, you guys kind of like naturally find yourself starting to follow her. You guys all hear in your head from Silfarion, "Wait, not yet. He must allow us."
I just like freeze frame.
I was going to do it, but as soon as she said, wait, I will do what I want to do when he summons us, just to let you know.
Do we knock?
Everybody else
Dude, just freezes.
I'm
everybody
just
else
standing at
bow?
attention.
Oh, speaking of which, yeah, what's the etiquette here? I don't want to, like, offend.
She's simply wait for a moment. He is kind, as long as proper protocol is followed.
We're not going to have to, like, fight him, are we?
What is the proper protocol?
For now, to wait.
Everybody else is
and
all.
then after we're done waiting, we would like to know in advance so we can...
He will call, or he'll have Mother call.
Can we speak, or is it like a whole, like, speak if only spoken to?
No, you should be fine to speak as long as you do not offend. Also, be careful to not offend both father or any of the... She kind of like looks around.
So don't say chronomancy sucks or something like that. Got it.
Advised.
Did she gesture to the elf when she said mother?
She did.
Okay, just making sure.
Everybody
Are
else
you
is
just being racist?
everybody else is like gesturing
No,
and
I already
asking
know he's
questions.
into time
Gurgle is
magic.
just like as soon as she said wait,
It's like
he's
his
just
whole
like
stick.
Oh, chronomancy. I thought you were talking about chromatic
'Kay.
dragons.
No.
So, at
magic.
this point,
Related magic.
at this point, the
Just so
He's
you
a
know,
white dragon, so yeah, I mean, chromatic isn't too bad of a joke
that
there.
mic is very audible on stream. Try and like grab it whenever you move it so you don't make noise.
Get some WD-40 on it.
this is moving it. Okay, so as the magistrate walks forward, she actually gets quite close. She gets within like 10 paces for her from this dragon as she kneels down on one knee specifically, much like a knight kneel, and almost immediately in response, you just hear, "No, not you." She stands up, almost seemingly happy, a little bit of a cheer to her step, and she walks over and places her hand on the front left leg that is outstretched. That is important. She got within 10 paces of his leg. She places her hand on his on his claw. Yeah, that would still be his claw. And they have what is a like solid minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, where no noise is almost made by anyone. The dragons in attendance, even the whispers, as soon as she had gotten close enough to touch him, the whispers, the discord, the dissonance, almost instantly went silent.
I just want to make a perception check to try and find this usurper, this Vorthalax. Basically, what I'm looking for is a dragon capable of challenging something of that size. I don't even know if they would be here, but I'm just looking, just in case.
Make a perception check.
In the meantime, I'm just reading books. I'm like, oh, this is taking a while. Bring up my spell book.
How long
start
can you
looking
hold your
at some
breath?
stuff.
What'd you get?
11. With a natural 1.
There's a lot of really big, really intimidating dragons here.
How long can you hold your breath if you're trying?
Your Constitution modifier in minutes plus 1.
Yeah.
But there's not like you can't roll to do it longer.
You can attempt to.
He's trying to see if
Gurgle's just like full, not even breathing.
Well, about 6 minutes later, the elf turns to all of you and says, "All right." He says you may approach.
Oh.
I want to.
I only took one breath that whole time.
Primal Savagery, and combined with Control Flames, and basically allow my draconic features to accentuate, and also have like a small amount of flame encompass my body as I approach.
He's peacocking.
He's peacocking.
Might as well. Why not, right?
He's got to be impressive for his new
You're right.
stepdaddy.
His father-in-law.
Okay.
Do I have any spells to help him? See what he's trying to do. I'm
He's trying to hide behind
I
Roger.
get it. Do I have anything that would be great? He's going to try to be very persuasive. Okay. I have a spell. I am going to cast a spell on him as he's like prepping himself.
Okay.
I just gotta remember which one it is of these two.
Both of those are somatic, by the way. They do not.
Oh yeah.
What is while he's?
I'm gonna, knowing the dragons can hear me talk, I'm just gonna turn to Gurgle and talk up Kane. You remember when he turned into that mighty dragon and kind of saved our bacon?
I cast enhance ability on him.
Look at all these
for
wingmen.
charisma.
Well, he was kind of juiced.
I know, right? He was peak.
I feel like I should make you guys make a deception check.
Look at all these wingmen over here.
Okay.
I'm decent at deception.
I'm gonna use my luck feat to give me advantage.
You make a persuasion check. Or deception, depending on how.
20.
Your choice, perception or deception. Are you persuasion or deception? Are you lying
I'll go persuasion. If I go persuasion, that's a dirty 35.
or you only can do a persuasion if you're not lying, though.
He hasn't.
Have I lied?
I was just making sure that you actually think that he saved you.
So if you lie, you're back down to a 25. So don't lie.
So this is just you. Do you
Go
think?
down 35. I'd say. Do you remember when he turned into that dragon? Help saved us.
He's embellishing the story.
As he changes it to help on the second.
That's the luck feat.
I'm down for it. Okay. As you guys approach, Kane peacocking out, as it were. The Dragon King is actually
Godzilla dragon. All right.
the Dragon King is actually not the one who speaks to you.
I mean, that's fine.
As again, this wood elf, she kind of takes a step forward as you guys get a little bit closer, and she actually takes a few steps. She meets you at the edge of that of the pocket watch, that carved out area where he's been laying. She walks out to where she meets you on the edge of it. She says, "Well, it seems that it is time for me to formally introduce myself. The pleasure is mine. You guys have done very well. I am Zydraim, also known as the Dragon Queen, wife of the Dragon King."
I would just like to apologize. I said some very unfair things about your instructions in the competition. I take it all back.
So she actually does smile. She says, "Dragons are fickle, I know. I tried to do my best to both appease them by not giving away their schemes, but also try to make it as fair as possible for those that would participate."
So you're an elf?
Yes.
Was your conquest the hardest one?
How?
I am not a dragon. I do not have a conquest that you can partake in.
I have a question. Sorry, back on.
What's her name again?
How did you end up in this family?
Zydarim.
ZYDRAM.
Yes, please tell me how did you guys meet?
DRA.
ZYDRAM.
We have a very
Zydram.
We have a very curious group here.
She looks back and she smiles and she says, "Just simply put, I was saved."
By the king?
Yes.
This is before the leg thing, right?
It was under the previous king. It is. She looks back almost like looking for approval. The dragon doesn't seem to move, but after a moment's pause, she says, "The previous Dragon King took me and many others as slaves."
He killed the previous one.
His Majesty challenged him for the cruel rule that he enacted on the land. However, in so doing, also sparked that which I believe has called you all here. The wars that came is because the deal made by the previous Dragon King was severed. He refused to uphold his end of the bargain. And in so doing, he decided we'd go to war. And as the right of the Dragon King, all of Dragonkind would follow.
So is that why we're going to see a god get killed at the end of the contest? Is that the end of the war?
It looks to be. There has been much back and forth, but a deal has been proffered. The gods offered up the traitor amongst them as a peace offering, you could say, for the many dragons slain. And upon her death, peace will again be wrought between both dragons and the gods, which would be good for all of everyone.
Peace.
I'm just curious. Looking at the Dragon King, could I make like an Arcana check? Is this fixable by the regeneration spell that I know, similar to like in Freerin, where magic like progressively gets better as time goes on? So like a regeneration spell I cast might be stronger than the spell they could cast. I'm just wondering, could I fix his wounds?
You are confident that you could not.
Okay.
Both. So you find yourself, as you kind of start to think about it, both from the side of you've seen what dragons can do. Both these dragons, which from the stature and what you're seeing, stands to reason that there are stronger dragons here than all but one maybe dragon that you know in the current time. But in addition to that, based on the tower and kind of how you guys have been interacting, how they treat rune weaving, the magic that this not only the dragons here, but almost like this time period, the way that they utilize magic, well, it's different.
Okay.
Again, as my best example of this is when you saw the rune, that is almost like a simplified version. Think like having a book that is like you have like a very mature book, very deep plot lines, things like that. But then someone being like, the story is really good and kids could like it. So they make a children's book version of that.
Mm-hmm. It's similar to the intelligent person can dumb it down to the ordinary.
Exactly. Your magic, from what you can tell, and really magic in current, is the kidded version of the magic they use today.
Okay.
That is to say, I understand with like fear in, it gets better over time. Seems that it got worse.
That's all I need to know. So.
Okay. As well.
As you notice, Tiku on Razu's back would just whisper in his ear and he would raise his hand.
What deal did the king not maintain?
She opens her mouth as if to respond, and the white dragon's head turns towards you. And why is that important to Cubix?
Because she wanted to know.
Is this
why?
The king?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, Trinity talked to me at the same time. What was his answer?
He didn't answer. Why. He asked why you wanted to know. Specifically, he said, why does Cubix want to know?
Well, I would actually change this a little bit, sorry.
You cannot change a little bit.
Yeah,
you just said it.
Well, I said it.
What do you say now?
I would say,
he wants to know, and he's a little bit overwhelmed, so I'm facilitating for her.
And you have no interest.
Well, I am kind of curious. Must be a pretty big deal if it started a war, no?
Not a big enough deal to ask, it seems.
She's cursed by a thing that's killing her, and they want to cure her.
you again go into silence, like a long silence. But at this point, you've, especially for like Zephyr and for you, as you guys have the spells, as you kind of like look and you see the Dragon Queen turn her head, they seem to be having a conversation that you guys cannot hear. After about a minute, she's actually the one who responds. And she says, details of that pact, you could say. Not many know. In fact, none but one in the current regime know. That is to say that information is extremely sensitive. What do you plan to do with it?
Well, it would more solidify, at least me, towards your cause to know.
Why do we need you at our cause? As I said, the Dragon Wars are ending. We're days away. Only thing left to be determined is which king will rule.
It's fair.
Also, no offense, Rouser, but I don't think you need your help.
Well, didn't say
She
you did.
smiles.
Didn't say you did. And if you don't care, then I guess it doesn't matter. It helps us get to know your character.
Again, why does that matter?
I think our group maybe wants to know who we should be trying to align ourselves with, as we've been given a choice, but we have no context as to who the fault. You gotta understand, we're newcomers to this whole situation. We understand you're the current king, and there's a usurper that we are unaware of and we've never met, but we don't know who's got the better moral compass, I guess.
I kind of inch away from Gurgle.
We want to know. I think the reason Roz was asking, I just trying to clarify here because I'm fairly good at talking, I guess. I think he's asking because he wants to know if the old guy was a bad guy and that's why you had to get him out, and that's why he was asking that question.
He had slaves. He didn't slave an entire.
Or if he was a good guy, but also that's totally relative. So. Just clarifying. No horse in this race, just clarifying.
Apparently that's out.
Already fixed it.
Oh, okay, never mind. Who you support is, of course, of your own making. I would implore you to instead look at the current ongoings. Principles, laws, standing of everyone. Choose how you would, would you support it or not?
I mean, this part looks great. I love all these guys in armor. Dragons, sorry. Don't mean to offend. I'm not saying you're all guys.
You are not beneath us here.
Just saying, y'all look cool. Love the Titanium. It's a cool resource that I would love to work with someday. I like smithing.
You mean Dragonstone?
The thing they're wearing. The weapons are made of. Yeah, we call it Titanium.
So
I would hold up my scythe.
So this is Dragonstone?
Yes. The only stone capable of killing gods.
That's impure
That's
version.
why we mine it.
That's the impure version.
But it will not be necessary for much longer.
So
Where is might I interject a little bit? That is some really powerful information you just gave us. So only weapons forged from Dragonstone can kill a god.
Of course.
That's not common knowledge from where we're from, but it is important knowledge.
And where are you from?
The future.
That's a
Just
loaded
so you
question.
know, before you answer that, I'm going to give you one thing, but you can go first.
When the magistrate, I can't remember her name, Zydrem? Yeah, Zydrem. When she said that the wars would be over in a few days, and basically every time she would mention that, I want to try, in Druidic, and I hope I'm correct, as Druidic is a very not known language, basically form the words out of the flames I'm creating behind my back that only, or not that only, but specifically so Silfarion could see. That's not true. I'm hoping my assumption is correct.
In that moment, as you're effectively starting to cast this, and she asks where you're from, as Clay calls out and says, "The future." She almost seems frozen. She's no longer moving. As you kind of start to look around the environment. None of the dragons are moving. There's dust frozen.
Oh no, he's coming again.
So I turn to Clan. I don't think we should tell them we're from the future.
I think it doesn't matter at this point. I think your Cyclops guy might be coming.
I looked at the king. King's moving, right?
His head kind of turns and he says, "They cannot know."
Oh, good. We got your attention finally.
Okay.
I would then...
The information you bring heralds doom. He almost like... Not only does he start to scan the dragons around, there's a very clear sadness. As you see, he almost like seems to focus on different individuals. He looks to his now known to be his wife. He looks towards Selfarion, who is also frozen.
So you are
looks toward the dragon guard.
This actually works out for me. I want to discuss some things with you.
So you already know that you guys lose.
Yes.
He's a dragon of time.
Well, perhaps we can't change that.
I don't think he's asking us to.
But in our time, we can probably set things right. However, knowing where we can mine this dragon stone would be of great benefit. Because we may have to be killing a god or two when we get back to our time.
Ultimately, we wish to enlist your help in our time to reset the gods, per se. They've kind of usurped power in the universe and
to release
plan to stand eternally.
To release entropy and reset things to their original state.
But in the meantime, we mean to take them out one by one ourselves.
That will be the most likely outcome for a seamless transition.
My mind is fading, even now. In your time, I'm split.
I'm assuming in the crystal eye.
Separated. I could help, but not as I once could. This war, as he kind of like turns his head back, looks towards his effectively stubbed legs, or hind legs, he says, "This war has taken much, both from me and the world.
And it will continue to take more, as you well know.
Your affliction, Tiku. I apologize. It is a blessing and a curse given to you by myself."
Oda, do you know Squawk?
I know of many. Some would even say all.
So you gave him the ability then?
I led him on the path.
Well, if you're the guy at the bottom of the crystal eye, you got some really messed up personalities in your head. I don't know what that did to you in our time, but you kind of like maybe want to kill us.
Scattered, more than one person.
Yes. If you fail, I will kill you. And I will enjoy it. And hate it.
Why did you curse me?
Because you've seen portions. You've seen
Tiku hasn't seen anything that would get Tiku in trouble. Nope.
No, you have seen what is to come, as I have, as I meant for you to. If everything is left, all will be lost. And you do not have the means to correct it. If you release the prison in its current state, it will end more than is necessary and that one would want. The world will start again. I would like to give it some chance.
How would you recommend we do that?
I cannot influence what you do much. However, I can tell you, if you can make it to me, I can cure you. Your transformation is simply incomplete. The final blessing of this curse. I have it.
Not with you currently.
Do you have a pet blue dragon?
No, I think he needs to give it to her.
In our time.
Yes, but I'm asking where it is currently.
At the bottom of the crystal eye.
But you're not at the bottom yet. Or are you?
He looks at the large stopwatch that's been carved into the ground.
He says, it's not ready. It has to be prepared.
I think he exists in both times.
I got that.
kinda
I
like-
was asking where the cure was in this time because I was assuming it still existed. And he answered my question. He's preparing.
My assistance that I can provide to you is my daughter.
As he slightly kind of curves his hand on the ground to Selfarion.
You don't know what I'm doing with her.
Oh yeah. The reason I cast a spell on him was because I was expecting him to, because he's dragon, talking to the other dragon.
He thought he was just peacocking for the other dragon.
Yeah.
Currently,
The only one that
Razu's
knows
the
that
only one
he's-
that knows.
He keeps on giving Gurgle signs as if Gurgle knows, but Gurgle just like, yeah.
Going back to him, sorry. I got derailed.
She doesn't know the power she possesses, but it is essential, especially to you. Your blessings will be that of many. But
Are you wanting us to bring her back with us?
she exists.
I think she's already in our time.
Is she also in the crystal eye?
They're star-crossed lovers. She's been waiting for him.
Maybe he,
Come back and be like, Grandma?
maybe he preserved her in a time bubble the whole time.
Sorry. We're on topic.
You're making this so difficult to actually stay with what is supposed to be.
I cannot tell you who she is, but if you complete this festival, you will see.
So she'll find us if we complete it?
You will see who she is, and you will have to find her.
Perfect.
Should we keep
Pyro may blow my brain. Conspiracy theories going on in my head right now.
Okay, Kane first.
Should we keep the information of us being from the future under wraps?
Here, yes. I have rewritten many things already. Traps, holes, pockets that you've created. They're dangerous. Many think that
The Chrono Hunter seems to have noticed.
reality's ended in instants. That's how he finds.
He's the TVA.
Yeah.
And do we have you to thank for the fact that he has not found us?
Yes.
Is that
Thank
where
you. But my power still wanes. No usurper, my son, will be here soon. He's the most important to not
understand.
What's your
So what-
son's name, by the way?
Volthalax.
Yes.
What would you have us do?
He's the most important to not die. Is that what
No, I
you
think
were
he's the
going to
most important.
to not learn that we're from the future. He
And,
cannot, under any circumstances, learn.
Okay, okay.
And also, I'm pretty sure we don't want to piss him off either, because I think he's the one making all the evil. Maybe evil's not the right word, but like he's the one making all the games where like you throw darts at people that fail. You know.
He believes I've grown weak, and that dragons shouldn't make peace with gods. He believes they should reign above them.
And that obviously doesn't pan out well for him.
It pans out well for no one. I have seen that end.
So you didn't initiate the war then?
No. I tried to put a stop to it. And if this was successful, I would have. But his ambition is terrifying and great.
So he's going to beat you at the festival.
He's not going to win, as we know that he still exists in our time. But he will not lose either.
I don't know if that's necessarily
But again,
true.
Your Majesty, what would you have us do?
I would have you seek out Seferion in your time and enlist her help.
Can you help us get back to our time?
I can, but
we need to finish this festival first.
Both for the anchor and also probably because we're going to learn some good stuff here.
there are many lessons still to be had.
The knowledge we can learn here is instrumental, to say the least.
Potential allies as well. And incredible enemies.
The
that's
most obvious question, where could we find her in our time?
He just said he didn't know, or that he would not tell us.
We said if we
know.
finish the vision, we'll figure it out.
But if I tell you now, it would change too much.
We'd get hunted by the...
Secondly, I have an idea for handling the present version of you, or at least to help out. So, we have this cube, and you already kind of understand it, I assume. Could you leave a echo of yourself in it? I've seen a creature at least go inside the cube. I've gone in myself and have left at times.
When you feel the festival is climaxed, use it. I shall give you a husk, a core, that you might collect each of me, that you might make me whole.
Tiku has a thing that she's been collecting pieces of him.
Yeah.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. He's gonna give us that.
Do you know how to eat rocks?
Not in the way that you're asking. He is a being beyond gods.
You refer to the Baka.
As you know him, yes.
A being beyond God, similar to entropy.
Sorry, what do you know him as?
Ask me again. When it will not end you.
That's comforting.
That means if you ask him in the past, we're gonna die to a time monster.
This is a
You
question
gotta ask him in the current time, so that we don't get eaten by a time monster.
purely for my own sake, and you need not answer. But how long ago is this day from ours?
Nor can I. I don't experience time like you. This is now, as is then.
Before the cube was created, so it's gotta be a long time ago.
I was aware of that.
Its inception has started even now.
Meaning they started making it.
Yes.
Rudars is hard at work.
Rudars was one in a long line. A child of a grandfather. On a project long since ordered.
Tiku's gonna pull out her orb thinking that the time guy is probably listening in or something. I'm going to try to pull the leech out of her throat and put it in the crystal.
As you kind of pull a little bit closer, that essence does pull away. Dragon King almost approvingly kind of like nods his head. He says, "You were marked. Watch for it. It is how he finds you." Tiku reaches over and collects the soul from and collects the soul.
I feel like
Zephyr's
Zephyr's like, what did you? And she just plucks it, and he's like, eh.
Well, Zephyr won't even notice. Tiku is still the only one that can actually see these
No, what I'm
essences.
saying is like Tiku would be reaching for his neck.
It's like I get this weird feeling. I don't know what it is. Like, ugh.
It's like that feeling someone's about to choke you, and you're like, what are you? She grabs it from in front of you.
It's like when.
Why do I taste copper?
Your Majesty, could you offer me some knowledge? What does this thing do? And I pull out the coal with the fire rune on it.
A gift. He looks to the two of you and says, "It is a type of dragon stone."
Does it upgrade flesh splitter?
It can do many things.
So it's an ore.
You asked where to mine dragonstone, or titanium, as you know it. There are 3 types of dragonstone, each of which you will simply need a core. I believe the dwarf who discovered it in Calasmere called it an egg.
He offered us one. Well, you probably know that.
What, are you saying that's an egg?
Dragonstone is alive.
That just looks like a big piece of coal.
That is a portion, but if utilized properly, could lead you to a source. Consult the dwarf. Tell him of Dragonstone.
You mean Derek?
Yes.
I have read some of his books on it.
His knowledge is vast.
We do have a shortcut to him whenever we need.
You know, you kind of sound a lot softer than you look.
You know, and if Derek doesn't know, I do have a client that's an archmage. That could also help.
I mean, what's your shot? I mean, I'm not going to say no to more experts.
I am ever dying, Tiku. My essence that was what you would think of as an intimidating dragon king was stolen.
And as again he looks towards his legs.
Penalty of stopping potential war or trying. The previous dragon king was unkind. And both possessed the power of a god and a dragon.
So
What
not
did
really
the
a dragon
gods-
king as much as a dragon god.
Which is what my son wishes to be again.
What did the gods want from the Dragon King that you could not honor the deal?
Payment.
In the form of
Dragonkin. The divine magic by which gods use their power. Dragons make exceptional hosts. Slaves, would be more accurate to say. Gods, in an attempt to grow closer, to grasp the power of the strand, the origin strand, they need hosts. It's dangerous to use yourself. But if they can use someone else, the danger to their life is non-existent, but the magic can be utilized. You've seen what the payment is. You hold it. Thousands of dragons, humans, dwarves.
I hold it or he holds it?
He looks, as you had already pulled out the cube, he looks towards the cube.
This is a prison of life and of death.
So is your son Tiamat?
You recommended.
I cannot tell you who any of them are. Finish the festival and you will know some. The rest you must find.
You said my transformation is incomplete. What are you trying to do to Tiku?
Make you king.
Why would Tiku want to be king?
No one who should be king wants to be king.
But Tiku's a scaredy cat.
That is why you would make a great ruler, is what he is referring to.
Because I'm scared all the time.
Because you would make wise decisions. Decisions that would not bring your empire or kingdom to war.
Oh, Tiku never wants to go to war. Never.
You wish to fight gods, and you don't have the power. You've simply encountered a fraction of one's ability.
That's terrifying.
You will see what a god can do, and you will understand. You need more backing, friends. And dragons don't listen to just anyone.
Oh.
At this point, I would like to transform into my dragon form. And I would like to do my best to stand on two legs. It would be very awkward.
Good.
And I would basically standing as proud as I can, utilizing his spell as best I can, I would say,
Dragon King Marcule, I request your permission and favor to court your daughter, Silfarion.
Denied in grandeur. For now, Silfarion's gift is too dangerous. She cannot hide from her brother, and he will use it. However, make it back. Convince her in your time.
Very well.
Again, gets a broad smile.
Those are like, wait, what? What did he just?
You guys know who's trying to do that?
I'm gonna use my last luck feat, rolling persuasion, to see if Your Majesty, is there any sort of favor that you can give to Cain that would perhaps help him in this endeavor, as I do believe you do in your heart believe that it is beneficial to the world, to Cain and to your daughter.
She has like a favorite color, flower.
I would
That fell.
fall back to all fours.
That's pretty good though.
I know, the other one's pretty good.
Oh yeah, you'd be extremely uncomfortable.
What's your ring size?
That's even better.
Well, that knocked it over to a 16. That was an 18. So 30 or 28.
28.
He already has one And yes, I would be happy to give you another. One might say in time.
So
There's not much I can do now. My influence is limited, and the hunter does come, even now.
So was the challenge just to talk to you? Is that what the third challenge was?
I appreciate it.
It is now. Initially, you were to be tested by...
There's a decently long pause. He goes,
by my wife. My love.
Can I insight? Did he forget her name? As in the madness is already creeping in.
Go for an insight.
18.
Or it was like pain.
18. It's hard to see anything apart from the obvious love that he has. Despite being a dragon and this being an elf, apart from the obvious love that he has, there is still clearly, from both the conversation and from what he's saying, did he forget her name? You don't know exactly. Is he struggling? When he said, my wife, my love, it was almost like he was like going through memories. But he can't quite, it almost like you were trying to think of that time when you fell in love, and he can't seem to find it. So whether or not he forgot her name, don't know. Is he forgetting things about her? Without a doubt.
I'll go under the assumption.
Her name is Zydrem.
It's, again, a very... The kindest smile you could see a dragon make. Despite what is, again, still a very, like... The maw of a dragon is an intimidating thing. Meant in large to be able to tear through and consume, largely for most dragons, is destruction. But through that you see what is not only the kindest dragon smile, but like even amongst when you've met with like kings, for example, when you met with Oderstrom when you first met him. Not Oderstrom. I suddenly forgot the second High Prince's name. It is what it is.
Mutilin?
Mutilim's the first High Prince. It's fine. But even amongst those, when you have the kindness, especially expressed from people of power, there is a sense of, especially amongst like king and princes, there's still a sense of almost superiority in the kindness. Which in one way, it is Omerton. In one way, the fact that they are superior means the kindness does mean more in a way. But the smile, the kindness behind this smile is that of pure gratitude. This is not a king looking at somebody else. In this moment, this is someone completely love-struck,
a husband
losing their mind, effectively, is the impression you get. As almost like, as you see his mouth starts to move and he goes, sigh. And then his eyes almost seem to gloss for just a moment. And then he stops. And he says, thank you, even if for but a moment. Now, she finds you odd. Don't tell her where you're from, especially because he will be here soon.
I will revert back to my humanoid form, just so it's not weird.
Impart you're from Zarthak, the only realm foreign enough to her that your oddities would go unnoticed.
You said Zardrak?
Zarthak.
Zarthak.
That's the land with the Great Wall. The
That
Super
is
Wall.
the canon that is the continent that in modern time is there's the most unknown about it, and that has recently cut itself off from the world.
Does the wall exist in this time?
He does not respond to that one. With that said,
now, it is time to return before you are mocked again. Again, don't tell them. One knows, and I could not change it. But he is important. Interesting. But do be cautious.
at this point, almost like you guys are on a platform, as his hand is outstretched on the clock. It's like you start to spin, but the clock on the ground, that stopwatch, stays frozen in the moment. Like his hand is the clock. and it just starts to spin for just a moment. Spins around a full time, and then stops, and then goes back ever slightly. And as he does that, you watch as scales start to fall from his face. There's almost like strings of magic that start to bleed off of him. And very clear to all of you that every time he utilizes this time magic, this is what is bringing him to madness. This is not seemingly a power even meant for a dragon of this caliber. It is what is killing him. And in that moment, time would resume. You were just presented with the question, where are you from?
Zarthak.
Zarthak. You can see there's a moment where she almost like tries to effectively to insight you, and then she almost like seems to freeze for a moment, and she goes, I'm unfamiliar with Zarthak. What were you going to say?
I was just going the message that I made, I would basically blur out.
Okay. As you blur, as you effectively like stop it, she does seem confused, like with the perception. You kind of see it. She's like thought you were trying to signal her something.
She's intelligent, but.
And then she, so in this case, matriarch or the dragon queen, kind of inspecting each of you, and she goes, "Well, if." She pauses, and again, there's like another like 30 seconds, 40 seconds, a minute of silence. She goes, "I see. It seems that he did have the conversation with you, and I'm not one to pry. So, consider your third conquest conquered. The rest of the day will be for yourselves, and honestly, whatever it is you wish to do, the fourth conquest will not be till tomorrow. It is I like to call it a test of character. Don't worry, nothing too dangerous. With that, and then she gets interrupted.
I look over at Razu. Oh, I'm not worried if that's me.
She gets interrupted by a very almost like haughty voice comes from above you. He says, Now, the guests don't get to leave till they've met all of the royal family. And you guys kind of just like look up, and you see that familiar small purple dragon. He says, Come, father, trying to steal all my fun. I've been looking at them since they got here.
Him?
And that is actually where we're going to end for tonight.
Him?
Time to meet the in-laws.
And on that note, again, there will be no D&D next week, unfortunately. So, to find out more about what is going on in the Dragon Festival, what it is this Dragon King is telling you about, and who these enemies and friends you need to make here or can make here, we'll have to figure out 2 weeks. We love you, Jasmine. Thank you for always hanging out. Have a good night.
Find out
Bye-bye.
next time.